want to be a winner, not only have to understand how to win, but to understand how to consistently win.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
That's our brand of football. If you want to be a winner, not only have to understand how to win, but to understand how to consistently win.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
That's our brand of football.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Nick Shine Show. I am your host, Nick. Pleasure to have you with me here tonight. Going to be joined in a few minutes by Brian from Jets Talk 24/7. Looking forward to this one. He's on my Mount Rushmore of New York Jets content creators. You know, that completes the four: Green Bean, Matt O'Leary, Ryan, and Jake. So pleasure to have them all be guests on the show and be friends in real life. So looking forward to this. We will take all of your questions. We will take all of your comments. We will take very few of your criticisms because we have a goddamn plan around here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Nick Shine Show. It's that time. Blitz BK. Turn the dial and go like that.
It's got me.
Gentry covering the football!
Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show. Dim the lights, but it's still bright as Nick time. Day or night, this is his prime, it's Nick Shine. Proud fan, well defined to get in line. Toe to toe with any show, he only got 9. The best show on YouTube, bro, is easy. We talk Jets all day, please believe me. Subscribe, you just gotta click a family. We not a click in 3D. You can see a beautiful DP. We see through the fake teams and the tea leaves. So we pray for a coach and a QB and hope that we close to the top in the new league. A toast to the host with the most, Nicky. Who, me? Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show.
Fantastic.
Fantastic indeed. Always great when you get to turn on the Nick Shine Show and hear the soothing sounds of Blitz BK. Now, folks, before we get into everything, congratulations again to Mark Reese for winning last week. New raffle going on. This one will go off Easter night, April 5th. Yes, April 5th. Now, it's winner's choice again. And also, it's Sunday night, so all raffle entries are doubled as always on Sundays. Now, Super Chat $5 and up, gifted memberships will get you on the wheel. And as always, thank you for all of you who contribute to this channel in any and every way that you do. Now, hit the like button. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already. But now, until we are joined by Ryan, Rich Cimini's article today, which I love. I love when he drops the 10-pack, however you want to word it. I love the nuggets that are in there. My favorite one is Muji turning into a dealer. He's already completed 3 player trades this offseason, bringing his total to 11 since last year. The only team with more player trades over that span is the Philadelphia Eagles with 12. They're run by a seasoned general manager, Howie Roseman. Muji has been on the job for a little over a year, showing he's not shy about diving into the fray. Now, you all know, this is something I have been pounding the table about with excitement. I love when Muji makes a trade. His trades have been very successful. We know last year, offseason free agency, I said they were going to be shopping in the bargain bin. They did it. This year, you see a little bit more. They're not overspending. I think they're spending very cautiously, but they're spending with a purpose. Oh, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes things happen to friends that you just have to celebrate. And we're going to do that right now. Congratulations to Jets Worldwide, Snowball and Johnny, for hitting 500 subscribers this weekend. It was a great text to get this morning. So, congratulations to you both. Now, I need everyone to go over there whenever you get some spare time and watch some of their videos. Help them get their watch hours up. You're doing something, throw the video on. You're going to bed at night, turn the volume down. Let a video run. Pick their longest video and let it play, for crying out loud. Do whatever you can to help them get their watch hours up so they can get monetized. They deserve it. They're putting in a lot of good work. And uh, am I allowed to mention Snowball? The news regarding your show? Am I allowed to mention that, or are you reserving that for you guys? Also, great job bowling today. That was fun watching. Thank God you didn't get like 7 strikes in a row. We would have had to go to a negotiation. All right, let me know if I can announce it. If I can, I will. All right, back to Muji. All right, he says go for it. Yesterday or Friday, they had episode 67 with Green Bean. I message them both and I say, hey, now that I'm on days, you got anybody queued up for episode 69? Who's more fitting than this guy for episode 69? So, March 27th, Friday night, 7:30, episode 69 with Nick Shine on Jets Worldwide. Make sure you're there. It'll be a fun time. Can't wait to be on with those guys and discuss everything with them. Yeah, listen to Robert. He says play Jets Worldwide videos on a continuous loop. Yes, Robert. Thank you. Now, back to the New York Jets. Back to Muji. Also, if your name's popping up in green and I see a bunch of you in the chat, that means you are a member of the channel, which means you have access to the emojis, which means you have access to the Chef Muji emoji, which is always very tongue twisting to say, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie. Also, added a couple other emojis. We're recycling them in and out. We got the Joe Namath emoji that's up there. And where did it go? We added Briggs the other day. We added Tavondre Sweat. And right next, we got Geno Smith. So, trying to get some more players in there, trying to make it more Jet topical here on the channel. And enjoy. Want access to those? There's a couple ways to do it. Number one, sign up, become a member. Hit the button that says recurring member monthly, or however it's word, auto renew, or gift memberships, and then you can share the love and spread the love here on the channel. Now, another thing that Samini had to say in his article, it's a rare reunion. When a team gives up on a highly drafted quarterback, Samini says, it almost always means the relationship is permanently kaput, which makes Smith's return truly rare. If Smith starts for the Jets, it will be the longest gap between starts with the team that drafted him by a quarterback in the first round and second round, per Elias Sports. The current gap belongs to Boomer Esiason, who went 5 years between starts with the Bengals, 92 to 97. Ironically, he was a Jet. Smith was a 2013 second-round pick who last started for the Jets in 2016. So we all know the history. We know how rare this is. We know that with the New York Jets, there's been quarterback trouble in recent years. And by recent years, I mean 50 or so. The New York Jets have had issues at the quarterback position. I know. I'm not breaking news here, ladies and gentlemen, but I will be breaking this camera because the auto adjust does not stop. I'll be ordering a new camera this week because this one just does not seem compatible with saving the settings that I set. So I ask that you bear with me. And like many ladies have done, just close your eyes and it'll be better. Charles Gorman, member for 20 months, says, "Hey, buddy, loving your optimism in regards to the upcoming 26 season. Keep it up." Now, for those of you who've been watching the saga of Charles Gorman's fandom throughout the past year or so, I suggest you stay tuned for later on when the call-in link drops, because we have absolutely something iconic, legendary to support Charles Gorman. For those of you that don't know, Charles has agreed to remain a Colts fan for this season as long as I get him a green Peyton Manning jersey. I'm green. Forgive me. I'm a Jet fan, Charles. Green's in my head. A blue Peyton Manning jersey. He will remain rooting for the Colts this season in order to help tank them. So, very important that the Colts lose the most amount of games in the NFL this year. But thank you, Charles, for being a member of the channel. 20 months, very long time. I appreciate your support, my friend. Now, getting back to Geno. The Jets needed a quarterback last year who could read the defense and get rid of the ball on time. We know Fields didn't do that. This offensive line, time and time again, week after week, was providing enough time in the pocket. I can't reference the Michael Nania tweet enough. We were fourth in the league last year with separation against man coverage with our wide receivers. Do the math. Take one and add it together for zero offense. However, the New York Jets had a quarterback that could get the ball out. We could have seen some nice things last year. Now, does Geno take some chances? Sure. He does. But Geno is savvy enough and veteran enough to read the defense, get the ball out. And I think if a good passing scheme is devised and you have Brees Hall running routes and you got Garrett Wilson running routes and Mitchell can take the top off the defense and you add another weapon in there and you have Mason Taylor, who isn't just going to be check down Charlie. They're actually going to let him run routes to get downfield, unlike they did last year. You could see some really, really good things. You could see this offense go to another level. Now, when you're in the bottom of the league and there's not many levels below you, you hope to get up. You hope that we can be a competent NFL team. The plan this year for me, and if you saw my short, again, the Nick Shine Show will be pumping out a lot of shorts. Please, when you see it, watch the video, like it, send it to your friends in your group chats. I'm sure you guys all have friends that you talk Jets about, or maybe you're super embarrassed and you don't want to talk about the Jets at all, and this is your little secret world. I get it. We haven't been the team that we want to be, so it changes how people fandom. But please support the channel, and if you're here watching, I know you do that on a regular basis, so thank you very much. Yesterday, I put a video out. What does Aaron Glenn have to do in order for this to be a successful season? What does this have to do for him to keep his job going into year 3? Well, I believe the eye test is the most important thing. Losing games 35-6 is not going to do it. Being competitive, watching team get better in certain areas, having a competent passing attack, being down by 10 and coming back and winning a game would be a nice sign of the team evolving. Run defense getting better, getting turnovers, getting sacks. Aaron Glenn being a better game manager. Aaron Glenn making decisions that lead to victories. Knowing how many yards a field goal attempt might be. These are all things that we know. Listen, we're a very smart fan base. We haven't had a lot of things to watch, but we know good football because we see other teams do it. We're envious of what they have. We wish we had that right here. But we'll start to see the signs and we'll pick up on it. Some of us earlier than others. Other people will just want to wait for victories. But I don't believe that the win-loss column is the only thing that can get Aaron Glenn a third year. If Geno isn't the greatest, and you see that we're running the ball in the top of the league again, and you see this offensive line is absolutely dominant, controlling the trenches week after week, and your defense is stopping the run and they're physical at the point of attack, and we're getting tackles for losses, and the rookies that come in are flying all around the field, making plays, making an instant impact. Those are all things that lead to wins, but I think it could also lead to a third year. You saw this year, I thought they were going to do it through the draft. Hand up, that was me. I thought they were going to take three of these first four picks and attack the defense. And they very well might do that still. But I believe that less than I did a week and a half ago. I think that they can get out there and add two pieces to this defense early on. I think that they can add a weapon to this offense, whether it be a tight end or a wide receiver. We can debate about that all we want. But I firmly believe that if they hit on three of these first four immediately, they're trending in the right direction. With all of the assets they put into the defensive side of the ball, you have to improve. You're bringing in your guys for your scheme. Why wasn't done last year? I don't know. But that's another thing. Every decision Aaron Glenn makes has to stop being redirected. It has to stop saying, okay, I made that initial call, but now I got to go to this call. Bringing guys in for a 3-4 and then saying, no, we're going to go back to 4-3. No, those are fireable decisions. Aaron Glenn, when he puts his foot down with 5 toes, I know everyone, you don't have to type it. He's not me. He's not Bobby. He's not Deion Sanders. He's got all of his toes that I'm aware of. It's got to be the right decision. And when you can make the right decisions, you're going to be able to make more of the decisions down the road. But if you're redirecting and backtracking and ripping the reel to exit at the last second because you don't know what the hell you're doing, we all know those people on the road. We hate driving by those people on the road. We don't want that with our head coach. We want it as like a Tesla. It's on autopilot. It's going to get us there safely. Ladies and gentlemen, Jets Worldwide, who we've mentioned earlier. Thanks for all your support, Nick. Everyone at Jets Worldwide loves you. Can't wait for episode 69, Styles at 2. Listen, Snowball, it's easy to support good people. And I'm somebody who wants to see, I shouldn't say this with Johnny. I was going to say, want to see all my friends rise, but we know Johnny will take that and send me awful pictures. However, I want to see all my friends succeed. You've been a friend for many years now, as has Johnny, and nothing but the best for you guys. I'm a fan. You're not just friends, I'm a fan. I enjoy watching what you guys do. Now, episode 69, we're going to turn that motherfucker upside down. That's how it works. And Styles at 2. I don't know about that. You put this money into Davis. You have Sherwood there also. Do you go get a middle linebacker with that contract that number 2 overall pick would take and add? Now, in a 3-4, I know you need elite linebackers. I think Styles is an amazing prospect. I really, truly do. But I did a mock the other day where I did 2 back-to-back. The Titans traded up. We went back to 4. And I took Styles there. And then Love fell to 16. And I took Love there. If you want to see Geno succeed, you go give him Breece Hall and Jeremiah Love. I also took Chris Bell. I know that he's injured. I also was able to get Caleb Banks at 103. So, yeah, Banks just had foot surgery. Bell had the ACL. But I'm looking long term. And if you can get elite talent and you can get them out there mid-year, listen, one of the One of the theories that drives me nuts as a football fan, somebody has an injury, they need to get something cleaned up from the season. Oh, how's it going to affect his draft stock? Well, why? He didn't lose a toe. Why would his draft stock be so greatly affected? I'm not drafting him just to be on the field the first week of September. I'm drafting him to be on the field in theory for many years to come. So if you have to wait 4 or 5 weeks to get the player, that doesn't bother me. I'm not going to get all up in arms and Team America when he's on the back. Give us the signal. What's he doing? Dirk, Muhammad Jihad. So if you can get somebody like Chris Bell, who was projected to go in the 20s, and you can get him at 33, 44, wherever, I'm all about adding the elite talent long term. Same with Caleb Banks. He's got a fourth metatarsal in his foot. He had surgery for it. I'm perfectly okay adding what I think is top tier talent. Harrison Phillips might not make this roster. His contract's not guaranteed. If you feel that you're better off with Banks, go do it. If you think that you can take Bell and sit him and then add another top weapon to this roster in 27, do it. Make the team great long term. You don't have to win the Super Bowl. It's impossible to do the first week of September. We've added 12 players to this roster already. 12. That's not including the draft picks that we're going to have. Over 40% of this roster opening day is going to be brand new. Jets are going to have a different look, not just this year, but beyond. You hope that they're able to just get things going. I think the defense will be fun. You guys know I focus on that. I focus on the defense. If you can play good defense, you can keep your offense in the game, and then your game plan can stay intact. We don't want to see Geno throwing it 40 times a game. We're probably going to have a couple games like that, sure. But I think for the most part, week after week after week, with this offensive line, run the ball, control the clock, play aggressive defense, put them in third and long, play field position games. And very important, the Jets let Nick Folk go. Some of you were very, very upset about that. We had a good kicker. He was constant. He was consistent. His kick against Atlanta cost us the number 1 overall pick. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not ready to. Don't mention it. But for Banjo, last year you let Morstead go. Bring in a rookie punter. He was phenomenal. Now the next notch on his belt is to go find a young kicker, whether it be through the draft or whether you make Cade York and you get Cade York and you fix him. Mike Westhoff was a kicker genius. He can watch a guy kick, fix the quirk in his swing, and improve him. Banjo, I know you weren't a kicker yourself, but that's the next level for you. Get us a kicker that no one's heard of and make him a household name. These young guys with this ball are booting 60 to 65 yarders that are hitting the net. Go find yourself one of them. Put him in a competition with York. Let the best man win. And ladies and gentlemen, 69 of you here. Appreciate you all. Hit the like button. Please subscribe to the Nick Shine Show if you have not already. Also, reminder, we are doing another winner's choice raffle. Mark Reese, whose birthday's today? I don't know if he's going to pop into the chat or not, but if Mark pops in, make sure you show him some love. He won last week, and he said to me when we talked on Monday, he goes, oh, man, I don't know. Surprise me. I go, all right, give me some options. He goes, I love the 98 team. I go, okay. So I'm going to keep my eye out for him, and I don't think he's here. He would have said hello already. I think I'm leading Kevin Mawai or Curtis Martin. He likes Vinny and Corbett, but I think having a Hall of Famer means more. So I'm going to keep an eye out for a prize. Also, shout out to Tom Ace, the Nick Shine Show eBay assistant expert, always for his help with helping me find items and also verifying they're real. A lot of scammers out there. Tom Ace can look at a signature and tell you if it's good or not immediately. Or I've never heard of that authentication company. So, Tom, thank you. Well, you know what, Rick? I do like to have a sexy assistant. I think I owe it to myself after all the hard work I've put in on my life. I do deserve a very sexy assistant who will never file a sexual harassment complaint here at the Nick Shine Show. Some people are uppity. Some people are going to complain. Not Tom. He's going to say, I see your harassment and I demand more. Absolutely. Hell yeah, as we say in this community. But folks, waiting for Ryan to join. You know what I'm going to do in the meantime? Let me do this. All right, let me play a video. Oh, Rick Kent's here.
Welcome, my friends. It's a shine time. Shine time. It's time to talk about the Jets. Don't you know it's shine time? Shine time. It's shine time. Time to be with my friends. Hey, have you seen my toe?
Okay. Now, there's a little bit of a tease earlier in the chat, earlier in the show. We all know the saga of Charles Gorman. We know that he declared some allegiance to a team in Indianapolis this season. And I had an idea. The idea was, what could we do as a fan base? We've already know that Charles agreed with me to stick with the Indianapolis Colts for this season. And he will root for the Colts and the Jets. Mr. Gorman, how are you?
Good. I got the link. What's up, brother?
I know you got the link. You're here. Jay Quest, he's putting kids to sleep and he will be here when he's done. Now, Charles,
Mm-hmm.
had an idea. With Sauce Gardner going to the Colts,
Mm-hmm.
with Michael Clemens going to the Colts this week,
Mm-hmm.
and you having your allegiance with the Colts, and the Jets having the 2027 number one pick by the Colts, Charles, there was only one thing we needed to do. We need Charles Gorman to lead the tank.
Oh my God. You guys are riots.
Riding the blue tank with Michael Clemens and Sauce Gardner on their blue Colts. And we need you to lead us to the number one pick, Charles. You are on a mission from the Jets fans, Charles. We believe in you. We know you could do this. Look how happy you are, Charles. Look at you smiling ear to ear, knowing that long term, you and only you can help our New York Jets, Chuck.
Yeah, sure.
It's very important to me, Charles, and many of us that Colts pick is a top 5 pick next year. We believe that you have the powers, Charles, since you declared your allegiance to them. They were horrible. I need 17 more games from you, Charles, in peak form. How do you feel about this, Charles? You look tremendous. You look happy. You're riding an army tank.
And I could tell it's blue.
Oh, yeah. You're a Colt fan, Charles. Well, semi. Yeah, I agree with Anthony. We're going to need some more enthusiasm as the tank commander, Charles. You are on a mission, bro. Have you ever seen the movie Blues Brothers?
I've seen most of it. It's a funny movie, yes.
Yeah, we're on a mission from God. You are on a mission from Jets fans, Charles. Please deliver for us, okay?
I'll try my best.
Bill says that the color is all right. Bill,
Like my balls. Thank you.
Yeah, Bill, calm your freaky down, Bill. Jesus, it's not even. It's 8 o'clock, Bill. All right, it's 8 o'clock. It's regular show time. Be yourself. Thoughts on Michael Clemens joining your team for $18 million? Did you ever see that contract coming?
I don't really like Mike Clemens, so he can go kick rocks for all I care.
Nice. That's what I want, Charles. Division amongst the ranks already. You're not even on the same team as Clemens for a week, and already you're saying he can go kick rocks. Run him over with the tank, Charles.
Nah, that'll be too good for him. How about we just shoot at him?
Wow.
With
All
the
right,
tank.
Charles. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? We don't provoke violence on this channel, my friend.
You wanted me to run him over. That's not violent.
It's hyperbole, Charles. You seem serious. What are the Jets
Exactly.
doing to two, Chuck?
Hmm?
What are the Jets doing to two?
I would like to see them draft Pierce. I mean, not Pierce. I'm sorry, Reese
Reese?
or
You think he
Styles.
would get a Reese's Pieces deal the second he signed?
Probably yes.
First sack, Reese's Pieces. Quarterbacks will be in pieces. It makes too much sense.
Well, I mean, Marshawn Lynch ate Skittles every time he scored a touchdown, so why not give Averill Reese 8 Reese's Pieces
True,
every time?
but he was Marshawn Lynch, not Marshawn Skittle.
True.
The
Got a
play on
point
the
there.
name is what matters here. This is marketing, Charles. I'm teaching you marketing 101 right now. Have your product, sell your product. If the guy has the name, it's a perfect match. What are you watching?
I get what you're saying.
I see you turning your head to the side. Are you playing a video game? Did I interrupt you?
No, I'm not playing the video game. I'm sorry. I'm a little distracted by the chat. Let me I mean, look, I know you like Sonny Styles. I kind of like him too. He kind of reminds me of David Harris.
Yeah, he's more athletic. Harris is an old school linebacker.
Damn good old school linebacker, if you
Yeah.
ask me.
But nowadays, Demario Davis reminds me of Harris. Styles is different. This is the new generation of linebackers. They can run, they can jump, they can hit 6'4", 245, I believe. Can jump 44 inches in the air. This is just insane. But listen, I'm
I
not mad.
also would like the Jets to draft. I know they got Dylan Parham, but I still think Vega Ione is still in play.
Could be.
I
Arnhem
like him a lot.
he's got guard center flexibility. So if you wanted to, you could draft the guard if someone falls to you, and then bump in the center, and then bump Myers back to being the sixth man like he was last year.
He
So,
should have been the sixth man, in my opinion, but unfortunately, no
was.
AVT. No, I know, but I'm saying AVT got hurt. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. I knocked my phone over, Charles. Forgive me.
It's okay. My mother thanks you for sending her birthday wishes.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Mrs. Gorman. Mrs. Gorman's birthday's tomorrow, everyone, if you don't know already. So give her a big hug from Nick Shine and tell her thank you for creating such a gem like you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So the surprise was that gift, that fan art of me riding the cold stank.
Yeah.
Not the actual jersey, damn it.
Not yet. I need to see your commitment. I need to see your energy level rise a little bit. I need to know that you are mentally in on this before I go buy you a Peyton Manning jersey. Listen, I don't like buying clothes from other teams because then my ads on my phone become things with those teams.
I get what you're saying, dude. I know what you're saying.
Can you just maybe this is our Colts, this is our team?
No, I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm not gonna do that. No. I didn't really like that cheer when Nate brought it up. I didn't like it. I thought it was stupid. That's just me personally.
All right, I understand.
But I really can't wait for the draft next month. I'm sure you haven't heard. I'm not sure you have heard, excuse me. I'll be going to the draft party in Hoboken hosted by Talking Jets, where Ryan Delaney will be a part of.
Nice. Have a great time.
I will. And I'll be meeting Green Bean and that other ginger everyone loves so much, Matt O'Leary.
You don't watch my show very much, do you?
I am able to when time to time. Why? People don't like Matt O'Leary.
No, I love those guys. But I'm hosting a party at the Woodbridge Brewing Company that night for round one.
Oh,
It's all right, Charles. It's okay, right? Don't stress it. I just like teasing you. Don't worry about it, Charles. If you bought your ticket, go and have a great time.
I
Trust me.
will. Thank you. What I was gonna say was that, yeah, Hoboken, Frank Sinatra's hometown. Yes, it is.
Thank you for reading Rick Kent's comment.
Frank Sinatra's a legend. Had such a great voice, and he was a great actor.
Yes, sir. All right, Charles. Thank you. Appreciate you.
I'll let you and Ryan Delaney get to work.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Ryan to pop in. I think he should be here soon. And
Have a
Rick,
good.
look at that. You're a legend, Charles.
No, you guys are the legends. Me, I'm just a regular guy. Peace out.
Peace out, Charles. Ladies and gentlemen. That's funny. All right, Nate. You had me in the first half, but then lost it here. Speaking of having it in the first half, unfortunately today, the Colonia boys basketball team at Rutgers in the state final for Group 3, they were tied with 2 minutes left, and then a couple bad turnovers, and they were outscored in the last 2 minutes, and they lost by about 5 or 6 points, I believe. But shout out to them, young team. Their best player, the coach's son, is a sophomore. Averaged 20-something points a game this year. I think he scored 700 points this season. Jace Rodriguez, tremendous player. They have a 6'7" freshman. They are loaded, and they might only get better in the next year or two. So fun atmosphere. And ironically, Nate and Clancy, Tom, and Jay Graves and Knob, Weed, they lost to Ocean City, the town that we stayed in last year for the draft party. For the Shiner draft weekend. So, all right, let's do this. All right, while we're waiting for Ryan, and listen, when you have little kids, you know that bedtime isn't an exact setting of the watch. Some days are more of a struggle than others. So we'll take some Jets calls now, and then we'll keep that going until Ryan calls in. And then if we flip the show and then Ryan's at the end, great. So bring your Jets takes, bring your Jets questions. Don't forget, Adirondack Fly Guy gifted a membership that went to Jet Life 3215. Those seem to be the 4 most popular guesses on how many wins the Jets will get this year. So thank you, Adirondack. I appreciate you. Now, folks, don't forget, Easter night, April 5th, is our next raffle giveaway. I didn't want like that. Rick Ken, I just answered that. I just answered that question. Yeah, Ryan's got 2 little ones. So he was hoping to get in here with a smooth bedtime with the kids, but call link is open. It's okay, Rick. You don't have to apologize. Now, while you're waiting for your guest, you ever go to a casino? You ever hear that say, we have a whale coming in? It means they got a top priority. It means they got huge personality, persona, a big spender. This guy's got big time takes. Ladies and gentlemen, the number 1 overall seed, Kyle Clifton.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Nice quiet weekend. My daughter was getting over flu B, but she was back in action on the volleyball court today. So
how'd you do?
They won straight sets.
Nice. Nice. And how old?
She's 9.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's volleyball's big out here in Rockaway, so hopefully she'll stick with it. Yeah. So, I didn't have a chance until you brought it up to take a look at Rich's article. I guess I didn't see the futures contract for Lenny Craig, the German born kicker.
Yeah, is that the international player that they?
Yes, he's the pathway player.
Okay.
I'm wondering if he is the sole competition for Cade York,
Why is
or
he
if it's
from
going to be
Korea?
a three way.
Ah, I said, why is he from Korea?
No,
Dad joke.
apparently he kicked a little bit for the Falcons last year. So, but we signed him to a futures reserved, and I must have totally missed it. But
Yeah, and
he-
listen, that's the next phase for me for Banjo, right? Like we were one of the best special team units in the history of what is it, DVOA, and I think we were third or fourth. I know we were up there. Now go get a kicker. Go create a kicker. Go get a no name. You don't have to live in free agency. You're watching all these other teams find guys that nobody knows of. No one knew of Aubrey. No one knew of Little from Jacksonville. These guys are drilling 65 yarders like it's nothing. Go find the next booming leg and get his technique right so he could just be a consistent kicker. I know we kick outside. I know it's not the same as in Dallas or going to Atlanta like Folk did or down in Jacksonville. There's going to be winds to deal with up here, and the stadium is a pain in the ass with that wind whipping right through the back of the 220 section, and then on the other side. But I don't know. Like that's just for me. Like I don't want to spend big on a kicker. I think you should be able to find a kicker and fix them immediately.
yeah, I kind of think that's kind of what their rationale there is. Like, if we're gonna be bad this year, we want to show up in those close games, but we don't necessarily need to win them. I don't think that Glenn thinks that way, but you know, it- like I would much rather use that money to bring in guys to revamp the defense and have a kicking competition because um, you know it's not like 41-year-old Nick Folk is going to put us over the top this year
Yeah,
in
and it's not
spending
like
nine.
his leg is getting stronger at this
Yeah.
point. Folks, we got
But
85 of you here watching right now. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the Nick Shine Show, please, if you haven't already. We will be joined in a little bit by Ryan, Jets Talk 24/7. Also, 3 weeks away from a raffle, Easter night, $5 super chats and up. Gifted memberships get you on the wheel. It's Sunday night. It's Shine time. All raffle entries are doubled. So tonight is the best night to contribute to get the most bang for your buck, as they say. Thank you, Kyle. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, I kind of see Muji as a futurist. Like, I think he kind of saw this coming, and how could you not with folks' age?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me that he signed him to a futures reserve and then had a veteran that had been kicking for other teams. That these things kind of go in cycles sometimes. These guys, they slump, and teams don't lose patience with them. You know, everyone loves a redemption story. I don't know if we can be that for Cade York. I don't know if we can be a great story for this other guy, Craig, or if there's even going to be a third guy that's brought in from, say, the college ranks or uh, you know whereabouts unknown. But that's
There's
one thing
always a
that
bunch, right? Every year, there's always a bunch of kickers who hit the cycle. They bounce around. We've had 5 or 6 of them in one season. There's
yeah.
always guys that bounce around the league. They try the circuit, so to say, and just find one that you can fix and you can make into a minimum roster cap hit and make them good, and then you control them for 3, 4, 5 years.
Um, you think we're taking a quarterback at any point?
Do I think we are, or would I?
Yes. No. Yeah.
Yes,
At
at
any point in
some
the draft.
point, yes. I don't. I hope it's not in the first 4 picks. I'm a very big believer that with these first 4 picks, you need guys that can hit the field and help contribute to your team day one. Now, I also know the value of a quarterback. I don't see the value in taking any of these quarterbacks, not named Mendoza, in the first 2 rounds. If you want to take someone, put him behind Gino, let him be there for this year. Maybe at the end of the year, you let him play a couple games, see if you have something. But I I don't have any excitement level of hearing a quarterback drafted at 2, 16, 33, or 44. I feel like it's going to be a wasted pick because I feel that you're still going to go all in next year and get a top talent.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get overwhelmed for 33 and go back to say, you know, 54 and pick up, 80, 87, like
Yeah.
that's something that they should probably have interest in doing.
Yeah. And I'll say
Um,
this: I don't think Simpson makes it to 33 because I think that anyone who's looking for a QB might jump us to get into late one because it's happened before. The Giants jumped up for Dart, the Ravens jumped up for Lamar. If a quarterback starts to slide, you do want to have that fifth year option. You do want to control the quarterback for an extra year in case he does go all world. But I don't think Simpson gets out of round one. I hope it's not us. I really truly do. I can't see taking a project when you have so many glaring needs. And I know the free agency period has been very stout, right? That's the word I like to use with these guys, with trading for Sweat, with getting Demario in the middle of your defense, getting Fitzpatrick on the back end. Like you're adding smart, talented players, but you're not good enough to just pass on an elite talent in the draft because most of these deals are short deals as of right now. Fitzpatrick's 3, but you can get out after 2. Davis is 2. Sweat's got 2 left. Like you really need to get guys who are going to be in here long term.
well, but we got to hope that the hype machine for Simpson kind of rages out of control and we can show some discipline because there are teams in front of us at 16 that could overdraft him. There are teams that could certainly take him or trade up to take him before us at 33. So, when that happens, good things happen for the Jets. Hopefully, a good player can fall to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm somebody who thinks that we might trade up, but I think we're going to trade up to get starters. I think you could see us move up from 16. I think you can package 16 and 44 and jump if down starts to slide. If Styles somehow, which I don't think he will, starts
But
to
to me,
slide,
those
I
are the
think
two, probably the only two guys.
if Tate gets to 10, I could start to have a conversation. If Tate gets past the Chiefs, I think the Bengals would be a good place to jump to because they might want more picks. But if you can
And
go add,
isn't
go ahead.
isn't Washington another team that might be looking to add picks? I think
Yeah, Washington's at 7. That's a lot.
that's
You're
a lot.
looking at
But I
16,
mean,
44. They're going to want 16 and 33. I could give 16 and 44, but I think 33 you can get your value back that you lost with 44.
I got a feeling that one of the three weapons, Sadiq, Lemon, and Tyson, is going to be there at 16. That's my feeling.
Yeah.
And that's definitely going to happen if Simpson goes in the top 15 and more than one cornerback goes. I mean, it's just math, right? Like if you look at it, like I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I can't wait. This is my favorite time of year. I
it is.
appreciate your time, Nick.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you calling in. Thanks, Kyle. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
I'll talk to you.
The possibilities here are just absolutely endless. And it's nice to see people in the chat having that hope, having that excitement, having the hope restored as Jets fans that we look for year after year after year. We've been down for so long that when you have players like Sauce and Quinnen and then you got to move on from them, you want to go get that or maybe even better. Comment from JQuest I saw earlier. I think I'm staying away from MetLife shit year and enjoy the games at home. I absolutely agree with this. I talked to Nikki. Nikki will be 18. We don't have to worry about school. We're going to pick a road game or two to go to. And, if free tickets fall our way, we'll take them. But I don't think I'm going to spend $1 to go to MetLife Stadium. Not until they turn the corner. It's burning money. The parking lot pricing is ridiculous. The cost of the ticket itself, if you have to pay face value, is horrible. You don't get your bang for your buck. The price of everything there is just absolutely horrible. Alan, I apologize. Alan says Jets' best win was 27-20 over the Browns. I want to see at least one easy win, more than one score, and be competitive in most games. Player improvement. 100%. Uh, their best win had 2 special teams touchdowns, though. No, wait, that was the Atlanta game. I think we had a good return against Cleveland. But that game hurt us, right? Both you can look at it that those games actually hurt us in the long term. But that was a game where the pass rush was on point. Will McDonald was impactful. I think Jermaine had one in that game as well against Cleveland. But thank you, Alan. And thank you for being a member of the channel for 20 months. Ladies and gentlemen, next up we got Lou B.
My dude, how are you
What's
today?
up, buddy? How are you, man?
Good. So when I hear people that don't want to go to the games, for me, it's like I want to be there when they turn it around, So I just want to be able to say like, all right, I didn't just jump on when it got good, right? Like I see these like last year when Jackson Bauer was bowling out, I saw this kid in the gym wearing a Giant shirt, and I'm like, I've seen you for years here. I've never seen you wear a Giant shirt. The bandwagon guy. So I just try to stay on the course no matter what, good, bad. I just had a 2-hour argument with guys fighting me about like all these Jet fans on like a 3-way call about Geno Smith. Like, how the fuck they took Geno Smith? And I find myself defending Geno Smith, which is actually crazy, right?
I mean, you want it to work out, right? Like you said, you're putting all the money, the time, the passion into it and going to the game, planning the tailgates and the events that you do. Yeah, you want to believe it.
Yeah, and I also like to be there for the fans that are still there, right? Because they're awesome fans that still stay there. And of course, money is a factor. And if someone can't afford to do it, they shouldn't. They should just like pick a game that they have to do, right? But I actually don't have any other hobbies besides the Jets. So it's like work.
Yeah, have you seen me? I can relate.
Right. So I just put my time and my effort towards always trying to make other Jet fans happy as well, as you know. Yeah. But I just hope I was just saying that I really hope when we see these other teams that could turn around so fast, like, could we possibly do that? Could we possibly be a team that like all of a sudden turns it around? And I know it's going to be a little tough with this quarterback, but I just hope like New England, that came out of nowhere last year. And a few other teams are looking like they're making a lot of moves. I mean, we're making a lot of moves too, but I don't know. It's getting scary. And I just hope we're able to turn it around this year, Nick, to be honest with you.
One of the things that I saw that I liked today on Twitter was that even with all these signings for the 2027 season, we still have $167 million available for the following year. So for those of you who are saying, why aren't we shopping big? Why aren't we getting big names? Well, we're going to have a Joe Tittman extension at some point. Not that it's going to take all of that money up, but if you decide to keep Will McDonald, you're going to have a Will McDonald extension. If he fits this 3-4 perfectly, you're going to have Will signed to an extension. So you're going to have guys who get signed, but 167 million, you can have some fun with that. And you can really build this team. And if you have this draft core that comes in and hits the ground running, and you got 4 guys who can contribute immediately, now you go spend the money. Now you go add the veteran pieces around them because you have your core, you have your base, you have your standouts, and now you sprinkle the talent in around them, and that's how you get good. And then you keep drafting well year after year after year.
We do have a lot of good guys individually. Like I was looking at the roster today, and I'm like, yeah, Will McDonald is a good player. Maybe we just need somebody good on next to him, right? It's like so many players last year, a bunch of them sucked so bad they made the team so weak, like Tony Adams.
And we were down so much, Lou. We were down so much that a guy like Will McDonald can't do what he's best at for 2.5 quarters of the game because the team's just going to do easy, simple plays. They don't have to force the ball downfield. They don't have to hold it in the pocket and drive the ball 20 yards downfield where Will would excel. Speaking of
I just like it thinking that we could fill in a few areas, Jake. I just hey Jake. So I just think that we have with a few of these rookies that we can get, the defense could be studly. I don't know what's going to, I mean, obviously we have to make a lot of moves with the offense too, but I think the defense is stacked right now.
Yeah, I think the defense is very physical. But now I want to get the flash. We got all the substance, right? These are substance players. You got your brains. You got Minka on the back end. You got Sweat at nose tackle. You got physically stout guys along the line. But now you got to get your guys who can get home. Now you got to get either a stud middle linebacker for the next decade or that guy who can do it all, and you can use him in all different ways. Shout out to Jake Asman, ladies and gentlemen, for gifting a membership that went to Ronald Perry. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate you, my friend.
Nick, last question. I think we have to go into the draft getting a receiver before we get to the draft, because then we're going to be like having to take something at 16 or 33. Is there anybody available out there that we can sign?
Nobody really great. And I think what you'll see now is you're going to see a lull for the Jets. And I think what you're going to wait to see is how the draft goes. And if we get someone, there's always the post-draft signings that come in, right? Teams don't want to commit because they're going to see how their board plays out. They hope that maybe they get a player at a certain position. And then if not, that following week or two, that's when you'll see some more additions to the roster. So.
And lastly, speaking of the draft, Jake's draft party in McFadden's at the draft. I hope everyone can make it there to the actual draft in Pittsburgh. Hit us up for any information. Jake's going to be hosting the show there at McFadden's on draft day, and then we're going to go right to the draft, and I'm really excited for that. And I'm also in the Asmaniac tournament this week, so hopefully everyone votes me over JJ. Nick, I know I could count on your vote.
You got my vote, buddy.
I know I could count on that. So that's it, man. You guys have a great night.
All right, Lou. I appreciate you, man. JoJo says take 2 receivers in the draft. Listen, I'm not against it. If one of them is Chris Bell, who might have to miss most of this year, sure, you go get 2. Not against it at all. I'm not against adding the talent. I just want whoever they take to hit. If you take 2 receivers and a tight end and they all contribute this year, and your weapons are loaded for the rookie quarterback coming in 27, which is my belief. That's why I keep speaking as if it's going to happen, because that's how I feel. I don't want a quarterback from this year. Maybe if you draft one, he gets lucky and you catch the lightning in the bottle that we all hope to get when it comes to a quarterback. Sure. But I believe build the line, finish the line, add weapons between this draft, next offseason, next year's draft. You can be looking at an offense with the potential to be near the top of the league based upon the quarterback play. You should have every single piece in place for the rookie quarterback to do everything we've dreamt that he can do. Whether you take one this year and one next year, whether you spend big money in free agency next year, when September of 27 hits and that rookie quarterback hits the field, I want an absolute loaded roster with an offensive line that is finished and young and top 5 in the league, with multiple weapons at tight end, with 4 deep at wide receiver, with they all complement one another, and I want a loaded backfield. And that's if Brees is here long term or not. Oh, look at your pretty face, young grasshopper. Hello, Jay Quest. Darkness. Look at you in the darkness.
Off the kids that are gonna go sleep soon. Listen,
I'm yelling like an asshole. Forgive me.
No, you're good. Saying, just because you go to the games, you're not a fan. You want to be there when it turns around, dude. We're watching fucking Jet content in March. In January and February. Everyone watching these shows are hardcore fans. Just because I don't want to go to a game, it doesn't mean I'm not a hardcore fan. I wear my shit year round.
No, I don't think he meant that. I just think that he's expressing the way. And listen, everyone has their different level of fanning, right? Some people left watching content and games in October and said, "Screw this, I'll be back next year." Everyone's got their different level of commitment. And I think he was just expressing his. I don't think he was shitting on anyone else's.
I just feel like, especially like living on Long Island, like to go to a game. It's a fucking all day affair. You know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? It's just literally like you're leaving at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're getting home 8 o'clock at night. A lot of times you're leaving those games losing, and you got your head, between your fucking ass, really upset. But I'll go to one game maybe. But I was just saying, like, I don't want to go to too many games. This is what I want, Nick. I want December to come, and I want to be able to afford a fucking ticket. Right? It's so expensive because we're 12-4, and we're about to.
You're calling in every favor for the last 5 years, right?
That's what I want personally. Like, let me not be able to afford the ticket, and fuck it, I'm gonna go anyway, right? If it's $1,000, I am probably going. But just to go, and in the beginning, and it's just hard, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's just like everyone's different, right? Like, I get why he wants to go. He goes to all these games, right? Road games, home games. Everyone's different. Not everyone can afford all that. I wish I had, and I was maybe a business.
It's expensive, man. Like, even just getting the YouTube package and sitting at home, the NFL has become so expensive. So I get it. I completely understand your sentiment. I'm in New Jersey. I'm 25 minutes from the stadium, and it's a fucking hassle. Like, getting there, I couldn't imagine doing the trek through New York City week after week after week. So as a fan, I get it.
TVs, you got the couch, you got a 70-inch TV, your feet are up, you're having a beer, you're chilling with your kids or something like it. You know what I mean? It's like the best. So
wait a minute. You got a 70-inch TV and I don't get a fucking invite? What the hell's this?
Got one too, Nick. Come on, dude.
All right. Well, I'm 46 inches, I believe. That's what she
I got
said.
5-inch. I get it. It's no big deal, dude. Just kidding.
How you doing otherwise? How's our math wizard?
Want to talk, and good seeing you, bro.
All right. Well, you know what? I have to. Don't leave. Rick Kent said, "Get this casual off the air," so I will remove you, my friend.
All right. Bye, guys.
Be good, buddy. Thanks for calling in. Rick, I just bit. Got you. Oh, now wait a minute. If this is true, we need him to call back in. I need the rundown. Tom Ace, very good point. Tom Ace is a wizard at putting things closer to his face and making them appear bigger. Shout out to me. He says, if you put your phone really close to your eyes, it's just like watching on a 70-inch TV. This is true. This is true. There's times where I don't feel like hooking up. I stream almost everything to my TV. So I have the laptop, and there's times I don't want to get up and do it, and I'll lay on my side and I'm watching the phone. I'm like, this is just as good. They're tricking us with these large TVs. All we need is smaller rooms. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, baby. Yeah. Ooh, that's what she said. I'm starting to think maybe I misunderstood Ryan's message. When he said bedtime was 8:39, I was trying to start the show earlier, thinking his bedtime was 8:30 or 9. But now I'm starting to think the kid's bedtime was 8:30 or 9, and there was a miscommunication through the text. That's why I came on earlier, thinking I had to get him in, but that's all right. We're talking Jets. We're hanging out on the Nick Shine Show. I appreciate all of you for being here. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Shout out to everyone here watching, hanging out. Let's see, where are we at? We got a couple more subs. We do. Thank you to all of you. Got to think Harbaugh. Oh, John Harbaugh. I'll be honest, man. If I'm looking at the Giants, I'm looking at three options. I know people are going to say offensive line. But if I'm the Giants, and I don't know how they're going to tier it, but I'm looking at Tate, I'm looking at Styles, and I'm looking at Downs. I just think that you need to add an elite player. I wouldn't even rule out Love, because if you have Dart, show him some love. Give him a running back. Take the pressure off of him. Kyle Clifton, Woodbridge Brewery. I'm working. Very nice to hear. David D, ladies and gentlemen, one of our resident Detroit Lions fans, just gifted 5 memberships. He is in our Easter night raffle for 10. They went to Easton Trini, Cuddy, Anthony, Sweet Baby Jesus, and Thomas Pohl. Thank you, David. I appreciate you, my friend. Good luck to you. ISU, you beat me to it. It says, Boomtown, sorry about your Paralympic hockey team taking the L to the USA. At least Canada hockey is consistent. Now, Boomtown, please understand, this is not me mentioning it. I am just reading a comment that was submitted to the Nick Shine Show. ISU is the one taking his shot here. Paul, I thought the Chiefs were the most likely to take Love at 9, but now that they got Walker, I highly doubt they do that. When you look at the top teams, I thought the Saints were another option for a running back, and they just got ETN. So I'm not sure who else, if not the Giants, go running back. Granted, the Cowboys love star power. Even though they signed Javonte Williams to an extension, they could do it. The Browns had Judkins, Judkins, I believe. Help me out with his name, chat. I didn't really do a fantasy football league this year. So they got a guy that they drafted pretty early last year. You know, I'm looking at all the other teams in the top, and I'm trying to figure out where he goes. Now, granted, someone can always jump. Somebody can always shake up the entire draft, right? That's the beauty of the NFL draft. The Titans could do it at 4. The Cardinals could do it at 3. The Giants, Washington could do it. They had that young running back last year. Do the Ravens at 14, now that they have that pick back, which is still one of the wildest scenarios. And shout out to everyone who was here last week. On Friday night, I was on with DT, Nick Shine, Dylan Terriman. Thank you, Addison. We were on with DT on that Friday night when the trade went through and announced it. And then we were back on last Sunday night when the trade got canceled. So, remarkable turn of events. You know, if you're the Ravens, do you take Love and then go from Henry and Love and just take all the pressure off of Lamar? Like, who else would go running back there? The Rams got Kyron Williams. Dallas has Javonte Williams. Dolphins have A-Chain. Bengals got Brown. Chiefs have Walker. Saints got ETN. I don't know. I mean, there's possibilities, but I don't think there's many definitives up there. And again, that's the beauty of the NFL draft. We might think that some positions are solidified, and we might think some players are set in stone. And then other teams will value a player and snatch them up. Ronald, whatever happened to Jamal Adams? I don't think there was Jamal Adams talk. I think that when you bring back Geno and Davis, and Jamal is another former Jet who was out there free, I think that was just the rumor mill, the scuttlebutt, if you will. But there wasn't any traction from the Jets with that. I mean, the Jets brought in 3 safeties so far. No, Rick, it's the other way around. The league is out on Jamal Adams. David says, I learned something over the weekend, didn't know or recall. The Jets DB coach when Rex Ryan was head coach was nicknamed DT, Dennis Thurman. Yeah, Dennis Thurman was a very good coach. Rick, I believe he played in Vegas. That was this year, right? He was in Vegas. I don't know if that was 2 years. I think he was Seattle 2 years ago, and he was on Vegas this past season because I believe him and Gino were together in Vegas. As always, chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just going off the top of my beautiful dome here. Thank you, Mr. Quest. Very knowledgeable football fan. Uh, well, Rick, when you're right, Rick. I'm not one to argue with you. He was there, much like this next caller is here. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier on, I mentioned that, and you guys know this who watch the show on a regular basis. I have a Mount Rushmore of Jets content creators, and this gentleman is certainly up there. You see the thumbnail, you love the thumbnail. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's pilot, we got Ryan, Jets Talk 24/7. Good evening, sir.
What's good, brother? Happy to be
How are
talking
you,
some
man?
ball with you.
How's everything?
Hanging in there, getting the kids to sleep, all the good stuff. Getting excited for the draft.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's rewind before we get to the draft.
Mhm.
How are you feeling with Aaron Glenn? From where we were at the end of January, and a lot of us were upset, thought that maybe he deserved not to get a year or two, and where these things have gone the last 2.5 months. Where are you with AG? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I was not in favor of getting rid of AG at the end of the season. I would have understood, or I feel like I understand why fans wanted to get rid of him. To me, I don't think there was a strong enough foundation of a team in place to attract the top level head coach. So even though John Harbaugh became a free agent, even though Tomlin stepped away from the game, even though Stefanski became available, like all these guys to me were not viable options for the Jets. We saw that with the Browns coaching carousel. They kind of waited and dragged their feet a little bit, took a little bit longer. So for me, I think sort of waiting that extra year or maybe even like 6 months, the more important part for me was that Muji and Glenn are not necessarily tied at the hip because I don't want our GM making decisions solely on trying to save Aaron Glenn's job. I'd like him to like keep an eye towards the future. And I feel like based on the moves that happened so far this offseason that I feel, pretty decent about are all on the Muji side of things and kind of building the floor of the team and aiming towards the future as opposed to maybe going all crazy out. So for Glenn, it's kind of TBD for me. I would say I'd give it halfway through the season. If he really looks like trash, get a feel in the locker room. If the players are still kind of rallying around him, maybe you let him finish the year out. If you have to pull the plug and have Reich take over the team halfway through, you got a guy with head coaching experience there anyway. So I don't know. I guess I'm in a wait and see phase for Glenn.
All right. Yeah, I'm very big on the eye test. Right? We know good football when we see it. We know that at the end of this year, we weren't even competitive. And if you can run the ball well, stop the run, get some turnovers, be competitive, maybe you lose on a late field goal, maybe a tipped pass goes up in the air at a bad time and you lose on a late turnover. Be competitive. Be in the game week after week after week. And here's a fun thing. When you're down by 10, the game isn't necessarily over. Like you have a chance to come back. You got a veteran quarterback who might be able to put a drive or two together late. I think Gino's capable of having some of those Fitzpatrick games, ironically, that we had the year that Gino got knocked out, where you're going to see 350 and 4. Whether the defense can hold up, you might get 2 or 3 of those games throughout the year. But for the most part, don't have the Justin Fields games. Don't have the 129 with like just holding the ball and getting sacked time and time again. Show that we're an operating offense. Show that we can compete in the NFL. And if you're raising the water level of the New York Jets, that's part of the growth, right? You're not going to go from what we saw to 13 and 4, right? It's very unlikely. But we'll know with the eye. We're a very smart fan base. we'll know when we see good football. So I'm
Yeah.
all right with Glenn right now, and I love what you said about Muji.
Mm.
Because next year, even though these additions that we've made for
Mhm.
27, we still have 167 million available on the cap. So
Mhm.
he's not doing that. I'm pushing all my chips in on year 2 when it doesn't need to be. They're still functioning as if this is a long-term plan, and there's no panic button being pushed.
Yeah, I think one of the major things that we've seen recently was like, oh, we have to draft the quarterback early with Zach, and kind of blew up in your face. So I'm hoping that's the direction they avoid, and they only do it if they really like, Simpson or whoever the quarterback is that they like. But with Geno, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm hoping that the Raiders were so bad last year that maybe being in a much more favorable situation, I feel like our offensive line's better. I feel like our weapons are at the very least comparable, and it's going to be even better, assuming we add a first round wide receiver this offseason, add some more depth on the offensive line. The defense's floor has probably been raised up as well.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think it's definitely an eye test. I do think there's probably some degree of win threshold that Glenn is going to have to hit that I feel like is still going to be a little bit further than this team's going to end up being. I don't have as much faith in Geno as I think maybe some fans do. I watched a lot of Raiders games last year, and he seemed pretty rough. But it's hard to argue with like, hey, there's only 5 quarterbacks that have 15,000 yards in the last bunch of years, and Geno's on that list. It's like, all right, well, for $3.5 million or $3.3 million, you're certainly getting way better quarterback play than you got out of Justin Fields last year.
All the dice, baby.
Seriously,
let it fly.
And this whole offseason, while it's not necessarily a quarterback I would have gone with, my whole thought process was let's go with one of the cheaper options. So Kyler Murray on the vet min, Geno Smith on the vet min, Tua on the vet min, like one of those like caliber guys mixed with maybe a young, I've heard Will Levis's name's floated around a little bit, someone with like a little bit of high upside to push a rookie. I wouldn't mind Dalton, oddly enough, not a young guy, but maybe kind of that Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston level quarterback room. And then maybe if you're planning to bring in someone like, Simpson, someone like Dalton might not be a bad option to sit behind Geno. If you're going with the mid-round dart throw quarterback, like let's say you're going with like Drew Allar or Taylon Green or something along those lines, maybe you're more inclined to bring in a Will Levis and have those two sort of duke it out behind Geno and maybe have a little bit more of a ceiling, but more volatility. So you still wind up landing a pretty good draft pick. I'm hoping it's the Colts pick that we're using to make the quarterback selection, and we can win as many games as possible with our own selection.
Oh, well, you've, the Charles Gorman saga. Where he
I don't know exactly what's going on with Charles.
Yeah, I made this. This is Charles with Michael Clemens and Sauce Gardner leading the Colts to the number 1 overall pick. I made this last night, and I had Charles call in earlier. I was like, I got to show you something. I want to reveal it to you on air. So
that is
Charles
amazing.
Gorman leading us. The blue tank, baby. The tank is on in Indy, and Charles is leading former New York Jets.
How about the Colts just doing everything they can to give us a top pick? I mean, between the Sauce Gardner trade just exploding in their face like instantaneously, to signing Michael Clemens, to then giving Danny Dimes a massive contract. They pay Alec Pierce a crazy ton of money. Like, that is a team that doesn't feel like it knows what it's doing. Like it overcommitted at the Sauce trade and just kind of felt like it had to just double down and triple down on the attempts at like getting to the playoffs. So I'm hoping it blows up in their face.
The amount of time that Irsay's daughter is spending on the headset with a clipboard, it's not making the team better. So I hope she runs that franchise right into the ground for 27.
At least for a year.
Yeah, who cares what happens to them after the fact? But right now, we're tied to the sinking ship. So sink as low as possible, baby.
100%.
I
really like the way that Muji, before we get to this next super chat, but I really like the way Muji structured the other trade with Quinnen too, where we get the higher of the 2 firsts between the Packers and the Cowboys. You just need one of like 3 or I guess 4 quarterbacks if you include one of 4 quarterbacks to like get hurt and miss a ton of time. You end up with a top 10 pick.
Yeah, you have an 1/8 of the league that you can get the top pick with.
Yeah, huge.
It would be my dream scenario is the Colts end up with number 1. We end up with like number 9. And then the Cowboys end up with like 14. And you have 3 of the top 15 picks in what people are calling one of the best drafts that we could see for quite a while. If you can get the quarterback, you get, say, Jeremiah Smith or one of the other receivers, and then you add an elite defensive, maybe you get the cornerback, or you go get another defensive lineman or a pass rusher. Just go get elite talent. Like, the worst thing in the world is if it's the Colts and Cowboys in the Super Bowl and like the Packers lost in the NFC Championship.
Yeah. Like just an absolute like, oh no, we're the highest pick.
Yeah.
And then you just hope you could move enough picks
Yeah,
to
like
to
Jonathan
make it
Taylor
work.
runs for like 3,500 yards. It's like
Yeah,
Madden video numbers.
Oh, it'd be absurd.
Kyle Clifton says positional value adherents are out there. That's why Styles, Love, Sadiq, and Downs could fall, even to a point where we could trade up comfortably. Yeah, Kyle, you hope that Simpson goes, because if Simpson goes, somebody falls. I hope Sadiq goes, because that means one of these other guys are falling down. I know we're going to get into the draft, but if the super chat's here, that super chats direct the path of the show. How do you feel it too? And then what's your thoughts and hopes for at 16?
So my gut feeling is they're going edge rusher at 2. I do think it's going to be Arvell Reese. I kind of hope we have the stones to go Sonny Styles. I think he's the best player in this draft. So that would be where I'd want to lean, but based on how like the Jermaine Johnson trade went down and kind of how we handled our free agency, not that our free agency in any capacity dictates the movement, but I feel like if we had gotten maybe a stronger edge, there would be more inclination to maybe not go that route. I think since you're basically getting the top player that's not named Mendoza, it's going to be edge rusher just because the value of the position.
Yeah.
At 16, I'm definitely hoping for one of the receivers. I think I wind up honestly, any one of the 3 would be really good. I think Tyson might be the best of the 3 receivers. It's just like a matter of his injury history.
Yeah. Does that scare you?
Not as much as I think other people, just because he had the bad knee injury in 2022 and he basically had all his success after that. So that he hasn't been slowed down from that. The collarbone's kind of a fluky thing. The hamstring, I feel like twitchy wide receivers are just kind of going to get that. So I don't have, it would not prevent me from drafting him at 16. Like, let's say it's him and Lemon and you really like what Tyson brings to the table. I'm fine with that. I think there's going to be one of the 3 available. And I'm happy making that selection. But if not, I think there's a chance Downs falls. I think the ACL degradation or
ACL
whatever
or
that.
meniscus?
Well, he's got the torn meniscus, but he's got some sort of degenerative ACL type injury, which caused Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan last year, to fall from top 5 out of the first round. So if Downs falls to 16, I would definitely pull the trigger on Downs.
Ryan. Downs
I don't think he's going to make it that far. But if he did, like, I would, let's say it goes Reese, Downs, and then maybe you make a small trade up for Simpson if that's the play that they're kind of thinking on, or you trade out of 33 and try to pick up a 3rd round pick and slide back a little bit. That's kind of what I would prefer, depending on who falls out of the first round.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at it where I believe Reese will be the pick. I think with everything they've done in terms of getting stout up front and getting those physical players, you need that queen on the chessboard that you can move around and have all these guys create the openings for. And having a guy like Reese who has that positional flexibility, which you need in a 3-4 hybrid, 4-3, 4-2, whatever you're going to run, you can utilize him in different ways, a la how they did Micah Parsons in that year 1 in Dallas. I'm not putting him on that level, but they used him in different ways. He would be off ball, he would be middle, he would be hand in the grass. And then they finally just said, okay, he's developed in year 2. He's going straight hand in the grass now. But at 16, I think with the amount of additions you made to this defense, you can be aggressive as hell if you so choose. Because you could take 16, 44, and another pick, and you can jump. If there's somebody that they come to an agreement and say, we have to have this guy, you have the assets to go get that guy. You can jump up to 6 or 7 or 8 and just get ahead of everyone that you're worried about. If Downs even starts to slide there, and if he's cleared medically by everyone, if Styles somehow starts to slip, and you just want to say we're going to add Reese and Styles to this defense, I don't think that any contract that you've given out blocks you from taking a player at that position, and that includes Demario Davis. If you go get Styles, and Styles can sit and learn from Demario Davis, and learn how to be a pro, and learn how to read offenses, and learn how to be a leader, dude, that could be the greatest thing that ever happens to this franchise, is him handing the reins to Styles.
Yeah, and honestly, I could see a situation where, let's say I feel like Styles is probably going to be hard pressed to fall out of the top 5. But if he does and he makes it to like pick 8, I would be calling like hell to try and get up there if I could. And I would,
Cleveland's my target.
yeah,
If
I
he
feel
gets
like
past the Giants, I don't think he gets past Washington because that's the ideal Bobby Wagner replacement, right? You just bring him
Yeah.
in. We got Daniels as our quarterback. We got Styles running our defense, and now we just build around these guys for the future.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Now, let's rewind. Let's go back to the last week or so.
Mhm.
Give me your favorite move that the Jets made this past week.
I'll say 2.
Okay.
The 2 moves I really like. I really
I'll
like
allow
setting
it.
the tone with the trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick. I was of the opinion that a trade, you weren't going to get him for less than the 1 year of his contract, the $15.6 million on the open market anyway. So to make a trade for him, you give him a little bit more guaranteed money. You stretch it over a few years, 3 years, $40 million works out to like a little over $13 million a year. I think that's spot on for the safety position. And it's way less than I thought we were going to invest into the position. Now, maybe we spent a total of like 20 million across all the different safeties we brought in, but I think Mink at the very least brings a leadership role. You bring a local guy back home. And then the other move was the corner from the Bears. I thought we got for a steal. Guy's a turnover machine. I think at the very least, he's going to be pushing AZ Thomas to compete for the starting corner spot on the outside opposite Stevens. I think it allows you the flexibility to not necessarily force your hand with Stiggers. I think he's, obviously a great special teamer, but ideally I don't want to see him playing too many reps at corner. And then just the way the secondary has kind of been reshuffled a little bit was pretty appealing. I like that they focused on leadership qualities. None of them are, overly expensive. Like there might be some players that Demario Davis, 2 years, 22 million, as opposed to Anzalone, who's 5 years younger, got 2 years, 17 million. Like, maybe I question some of that stuff, but if it's going to help the locker room, if it's going to help the culture and you kind of freshen everything up, I'm not opposed to it. It's not like you mentioned earlier in the show. You're not giving away cap space on these huge contracts. It's not like a Tremaine Johnson contract. It's not like a CJ Mosley contract. Like all these things are easily workable. And when you look at all the numbers, Breece Hall is still the one player this offseason that got the most money from the New York Jets. He hasn't even signed his franchise tag yet, but of all of them, the $14.5 million that he'll be getting is the most of any player coming into the team. So you're not getting this weird, like, oh, this outside guy came in and now he's the highest paid dude. It's like, no, your alpha is going to be the highest paid guy from this offseason.
Yeah, and with Breece, if he does sign it, when he does, you can lower that and you can put an extension in place where that cap hit's not the, what is it, 14, 11?
Yeah, it's
the
14.5
tag is
million.
11. Okay. You can lower that. And now you're still freeing up money and you can make other moves. And you still have the Harrison Phillips deal with $7.5 million, none of it guaranteed. You can see how the draft goes. Maybe you end up with a Caden McDonald and you say, you know what, Phillips, thank you. But, we got our defensive line depth. We can free up some more money there. There's a lot of options. And I love that about Muji is that he's not pigeonholing himself into any. We could be players. And we can do whatever we want to do because we have the options and we have the roster flexibility on top of the financial flexibility to just pounce when we see the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, not just pounce as far as financially, but like we have the draft capital flexibility. I think Breece is definitely going to get a contract done. Like there's no doubt in my mind he's going to be signing a deal. And it doesn't necessarily even lock him into the Jets long term. Like let's say it's a 3-year deal, call it $36 million, 12 a year. Maybe it's a little bit more, maybe it's 3 years, 45 or something crazy. But the Jets are going to take on the brunt of that cap hit in the initial year with the signing bonus. And they're going to structure it the same way they did with Sauce. It's going to be a very tradable contract prior to the trade deadline and a very tradable contract after the season. And I think that's going to generate additional value. It's almost a way of buying a draft pick. Like Sauce, if you tried to trade him prior to him signing that deal, you're not getting 2 1s. The fact that you got the 2 1s, you signed him to the contract you did, that's like the contract you got him for and him being already signed on it is what got you the 2 1s to begin with. So doing the same type of contract with Breece, saying, hey, look, we want you here long-term. We're committed to you long-term. This is the money you're getting from us. In the event it doesn't work out this year, we're going to send you to a winner because this contract is going to look far more favorable and we're going to get some assets back for you that we wouldn't have otherwise recouped. And I think it's going to be positive for Breece. I think it's going to be positive for the Jets. And then whether or not he's here long-term, I think Muji will set us up for success in that way.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Nick Shine Show, joined by Ryan here, Jets Talk 24/7. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Appreciate you for tuning in here with us. All right. Now, I'm going to go the opposite end here, right? Because we all have one that we kind of went, what's your least favorite move that they've made so far this offseason? And you can't say keeping Glenn.
Least favorite move.
Or the biggest head scratcher, however you want to phrase it.
Was it Osai that got the 3-year deal?
Yeah.
That would be the one that maybe makes me scratch my head a little bit. Not that he's bad, but it just seemed like a little bit more years committed. The other thing I'll say is, from a player standpoint, I don't like Cade York as a kicker, but from a strategy standpoint, I think it's kind of sound. Like, I think if you're not going for a playoff spot, or you think it's unlikely that you're going to be highly competitive, I would rather have a suspect kicker, because it's going to lose you more of those close games. That's going to help you with your draft stock. It's like a sneaky way to accidentally like tank, where everyone could be like, screw the kicker. You missed that 45-yarder or whatever. And then you wind up, that one win could be the difference between the number 1 pick and the number 2 pick, a la the Atlanta game. So I think frustrating wise would be the, aside, but I think player wise would be the kicker, Cade York.
All right. That's fair. Now, I fired a bunch of Jets questions at you, but Jake comes in with a super chat and says, favorite food item at the O'Leary wedding?
Oh man. The mac and cheese bar was pretty fresh. I would say that was fun.
That seems to be the consensus.
Yeah. I mean, it was honestly, there was a lot of good food. I really liked the cocktail hour food a lot. But the mac and cheese bar was one that we were like, okay, we got to hit this, and we hit it hard, and we hit it like more than one time.
And we got to hit it before fun. Jets Chaos gets there.
Oh yeah. Jeremy were like, get out of here. We were like stiff arming him, holding him back. It's great.
Awesome. All right. You mentioned the quarterbacks. If you had to put money on it, who else is coming here with Gino? Do you think it's draft? Do you think it's veteran? Do you think it's both? Like, do you think they just load up this room where you don't have somebody like Brady Cook starting the last 4 or 5 games? Or do you think, how do you think they play this out?
I think it's going to be both. I think it's going to be obviously Gino here to start. I think you could go one of two ways. If they're leaning maybe Simpson early on, like whether it's at pick 16 or trading back into the first, because I don't think he's going to make it to 33. I think you're probably going to have to move up a little bit to get him. But if you're leaning like maybe that direction, maybe you try to make a trade for Andy Dalton, and you have some veteran leadership aside from the vet that's playing on the field, because there may not be much coaching between Gino and the young player. If you're not going to go a higher swing on quarterback, then I would go maybe a Will Levis, get him, high upside kind of guy, might implode. Then I would try to go maybe like 4th round for a quarterback. If you can get a 3rd round pick, I'm fine with, a 3rd round pick being burnt on one. But someone like high upside, Drew Allar would be my first preference, just because of the sky high ceiling. I don't have a whole lot of faith in him, but if he had to sit and learn for a while, I think there's some benefit to, like, okay, he played in the Northeast. He's got the ability to throw the ball really far. Maybe the weapons weren't good. Maybe the head coach wasn't good. Maybe the offensive coordinator wasn't good. Like, you can kind of talk yourself into circles with that. You already have Olu on the team who knows him. You have Garrett Wilson liking his posts on social media. I think there's an outside shot that Vega winds up being the 16 pick for the Jets too. So there's just a lot of foundational pieces that would support someone like Allar. With Taylor Green, they met him at the Combine. Dom said he saw 3 different Jet executives go up to him at the Senior Bowl. So I think there is some degree of interest with him, even prior to like the Combine numbers and everything. But that's probably, a day 3 swing. I'd like to see Cole Payton, someone that has like a sky high upside would be my preference. The other side of that coin is if you said you wanted to go someone like Carson Beck, which I don't have any belief that he'll be a starter in the NFL, but I think he has the floor of like a really good backup quarterback for a long time, which we do need as well. So
spot starter.
Right? You're not
nobody that you're
like,
going to put franchise keys in his hand, but if you need a spot starter, he can maybe get you through a game.
That's kind of my thinking. So I like the high upside volatility type picks. So someone like a Levis and a Taylor Green, or a Levis and an Allar, that, it could boom and be, wow, we got our guy, or it could implode and you get a very high draft pick.
All right, that's fair. There were many lows this past season, but
Mhm.
was there any moment that was lower than this? Big fella with a super chat says the biggest AG head scratcher: 2 fake punts on one series. Never forget.
Dude, it felt like we just gave up this year. Like there was a section of like 3 to 4 games where Tyrod started and we had legitimate quarterback play outside of week 1 from Justin Fields. And I was like, okay, this team's not as bad as we think they are.
I
And
was at
then
Cincinnati. Me and Nikki drove out. We were at
yep.
Cincinnati. Cincinnati, we looked like a well-oiled machine on off. And I hate
Mhm.
that I had to drive that far to see it when the stadium's 25 minutes north of me. But Cincinnati wasn't bad either. The defense was ridiculously awful that day.
Yeah, I think it comes down to a lot of guys that I think got their hopes up with the Rodgers regime. I think there was enough kind of gas taken out of the tank. Fields just couldn't put it together. And it was just there was a lot of like, we couldn't quite get it done. And I think it's kind of swapping some of that mentality out of here. That's gonna change a little bit of this. So like, it wouldn't shock me if Brees gets moved. Some of the comments he's made feel like he doesn't really want to be here. You just don't want to lose value on someone that's that good. And then hopefully you just build around the young guys that you brought in last year, and you're going to bring in over the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, and I'm somebody that doesn't want to take Simpson. I feel with where this roster is, and with all the draft capital and the 5 or 6 or 7 quarterbacks that people are talking so highly about, I don't think you're going to see what you saw this year. Because a year ago at this time, people were looking ahead at Nussmeier, at Klubnik, at Aller, and saying those guys were the top 10. And now none of them might be in the top 2 or 3 rounds. But we have so many needs that I think you have to hit these 4 picks. If you keep all 4, granted, you can maneuver, you got to get that premium talent. You have to add. You traded away Quinnen. You traded away Sauce. You can't just keep making these late round trade pick swaps to build your roster. You eventually got to go hit and land on these premium picks. And then when you go in for whatever quarterback it is next year, and I think the beauty of next year's draft, and some people will argue saying it's not a given, and I understand that. But Ryan, you don't have to get to 1 next year, in my opinion, today to get your quarterback. You got Manning, you got Moore, you got Mensa, you got many other guys. Saying's too small for me. I want at least 6'3" for a quarterback. But there's a lot of other players. Mestamaker, also. There's several guys, Sellers. There's guys with a lot of talent that could rise and make it one of the richest quarterback drafts we've had. So you don't necessarily need the number 1 pick. Granted, it would be great to have it and have your option of everybody. But if you're bringing a guy in, and obviously it's going to be the Colts with the number 1 pick and not us. Thank you, Charles and Sauce and Michael Clemens. I want that guy to come onto a team that has the offensive line solidified. I want him to come into a team with A.D. Mitchell had a blossoming year with us. Garrett Wilson was getting the ball more than 6 yards downfield, and we see what he can do in open space where he can make one move, burn a safety, and take it the distance. I want to see the tight end room get a little bit better and have multiple options there and guys who complement one another. And I want to drop that quarterback in as the last piece of the puzzle. I always reference the 1998 draft with Peyton Manning when he went to the Colts and he had Marcus Pollard and Ken Dilger at tight end. He had Marshall Faulk in the backfield. He had all of these weapons around him, and he had a rough first year. I think they went 3-13. He set the record with 28 interceptions. But year 2, you just saw a quarterback who had everything around him, and they absolutely exploded. And if you have that talent in place, you're giving your quarterback the best possible chance to succeed. And we know from 98 until now, it's a world of difference. These quarterbacks are hitting the league ready to play. Some of them don't even need that buffer year. They come in, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. They're hitting the ground, man, and they look great in year 1. Have this so that kid can succeed. And also with Reich and Musgrave, you have guys who've been around the league long enough and know the quarterback position to get that guy ready. So I'm hoping that they can build this and just say, you know what, Gino, thank you for your efforts, but we got to go get our guy.
And I would even go so far as it's not even necessarily going to be a rookie quarterback that comes in next year. Like I think that's the high likelihood. There could be someone, very highly drafted, but there's a situation where, Joe Burrow becomes available and this team has become so attractive from like a standpoint of all the talent you brought in most recently, or maybe another player that becomes, available or hits free agency, or there's some sort of disgruntled thing that works out. Like, we have so much flexibility. You could either draft your own guy or you can go with the veteran option. You're going to have so much money that it doesn't really hold you back. And I'm kind of fine either way. I would like to have our young guy, 22 years old and he's here for the next 15 years. Like, that's my preferred route. And you mentioned a lot of quarterbacks coming out. I think one of the nice things about the NIL stuff is you're getting quarterbacks stay in college longer, which at this particular moment is very frustrating because of where we're at. We're obviously the number 2 pick, didn't have a second quarterback coming out this year. But as the NIL years start to catch up, you'll see guys like Mensa, who went from Tulane to Duke, now playing in Miami. Like, you're seeing these quarterbacks progress into better and better systems, get more and more starts under their belt. Now you guys are going to be coming out with like 30 starts. So now you feel more insulated from a drafting of the quarterback perspective. You're not going to get necessarily a Josh or a Zach Wilson coming out after one good year. Or, obviously you have Simpson coming out, and that's kind of the red blinking light. But next year, the quarterbacks are going to have a lot more starts. You feel a little bit more comfortable. Maybe they fall to the second round, like a Nussmeier, who has a lot of starts, or like a Klubnik or something along those lines. But we have ultimate
Simpson terrifies me. Absolutely terrifies me that you're 23, inexperienced. You didn't look that great as the year went on. I'm somebody that when I watch a quarterback and I watch his collegiate progression, I want to watch you get better over time. I want to watch you improve. I want to know that the book is out on you and what you're going to do, and the defenses have no option. They can't stop you, and you just do it week after week after week, and you can pencil in 300, 3 touchdowns. Now, I get it. Alabama plays some games where it's not always close, and you don't have to have Simpson throwing it, and they've built on a good running game there as well. So, but I don't know, man. I feel that the longer the season went on, the less I saw from him. And that terrifies me, being a Jet fan. If we were the Rams, the 49ers, the Packers, or even like now the Steelers with McCarthy, and you had a proven coach who can take a quarterback, improve a quarterback, fix the errors and the mechanics, I would feel a lot better. I'm not there yet, though, as a Jet fan. So I'm terrified of Simpson's name getting called by the Jets.
I just don't want to see him in the first 2 picks. Like, if we can, I'd understand if they pull the trigger on 16, but I think there's the ability to trade up. I think is it Denver that has the 30th pick or the 29th pick, somewhere right around there. Muji's connection with that.
Denver's at 30, Patriots are 31. So you either got to go 32 or 30, because the Patriots aren't going to trade with you.
I think 30 with the connection with the Broncos would be the move. And I think it's moving pick 33 and, maybe a 4th round pick to go up, because then the Broncos could, trade down from 33 and recoup some additional picks, as much as it's like, not the 5th year option or whatever. I don't think the Jets are going to have to give up a crazy ton to go up, but I would understand burning a pick on a quarterback. As long as that pick, if back into the first round, I think you could still sacrifice that pick in 2027 if you wind up having a shot at Arch Manning or having a shot at a top guy at the very top there. And then worst case scenario, you just have a tradable asset. Like, I think Simpson on a 4-year contract next year could probably still net you like a 2nd round pick. Like, I think someone could take a dart throw on him, or you just let him compete with the other rookie.
Yeah. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to play a video that you're in. We'll be right back after this.
It's got me.
Gentry covered in football. Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show. Dim the lights, but it's still bright as Nick time. Day or night, this is his prime, it's Nick Shine. Proud fan, well defined, to get in line. Toe to toe with any show, he only got 9. The best show on YouTube, bro, is easy. We talk Jets all day, please believe me. Subscribe, you just gotta click the family. We not a click in 3D, you can see a beautiful DP. We see through the fake teams and the tea leaves. So we pray for a coach and a QB and hope that we close to the top in the new league. A toast to the host with the most, Nicky.
Who, me?
Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show.
Fantastic.
Love it.
I got my comforter in the dryer, and I had to rotate it because in the middle will stay wet still. So I had to flip it to make sure that when I get ready for bed in a half an hour, that I'm good to go.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We just did our
Life
laundry
happens,
before the show.
Life happens. Got to make sure you got a nice warm comforter for bedtime.
Oh, yeah.
All right, folks, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Easter Sunday, we have a winner's choice raffle. We just had one last week. You pick the player, you pick the item, mini helmet, autographed jersey, photograph for the wall. Sunday night raffle entries are doubled. So tonight's the night to get in. We're joined with Ryan. Ryan, what's your thoughts on the assistants? What's your thought? Now, we know Glenn's running the defense. Duker's just the guy who laminates the play sheets, right? Kind of like Eric Bieniemy did for Andy Reid. I'm not putting Glenn on that level, but I always say that when the head coach is calling the plays, your job is to make sure that the Sharpies are new and the play sheets are laminated for game day. So in terms of Reich, we'll start there. How do you feel about Reich? Like, he's got head coaching experience, as you mentioned earlier. He's been in the room for successful quarterback play. What do you think he can bring to the table?
Yeah, I think he's the break glass in case of emergency situation for Glenn if things go, south real fast. I think at the very least you have a foundation of offensive coaches in place that you feel comfortable with Musgrave, with Reich. You're not just, handing this young quarterback potentially off to Adam Gase with no quarterback coach, or, RIP Greg Knapp, or, Mike LaFleur, first year quarterback coach, or, I really liked Engstrand, but for all his, potential, there was just a lot of uncertainty and no real proven pro development of quarterbacks yet. So I think at the very least, you're setting yourself up with the foundation in place to have a quarterback here, unlike where you've been in the last, 10 years at least.
Yeah. When I look at the coaches, just to touch on this real quick, Engstrand to me, I think could be LaFleur 2.0. The guy that you let go too soon, you didn't have the patience for, and then he goes somewhere else and then elevates and is one of the better offensive minds in the league. I like the guy. I think that Fields really derailed any true reading of what his offense could be. And then by the time you got another quarterback in, then Garrett Wilson is down. And we never got to see Wilson and Mitchell together very often. So I think it was just one of those typical and often New York Jet disaster seasons. But I'm hoping that Reich and Musgrave can fine-tune Geno, right? You're not going to teach Geno a lot new, but you can fine-tune him in terms of how to read, what to read, where to go with the ball. And you can, if you can get the best out of Geno, and listen, Geno's best, the last 2 out of the last 4 years, he's thrown for 4,000 yards. We have it once in our history. We would take the third best season that Geno's had in the last 5 years right now. You give me 3,824, I think we'll all be doing backflips that we got that level of play from Geno Smith. But defensively, my biggest take with Aaron Glenn, why didn't you do this with the defense from the get-go? Why wait a year to overhaul the scheme? Why wait a year to bring in your types of players? Why didn't you just have the faith and the confidence for a guy who wants to stand there and call out the media and be so aggressive and put your foot down and say this is coaching? Why didn't you go with what you're most comfortable with from day one? And waiting the year could have cost you your job. I think there's smoke there. And even if the Jets said he's our guy, I think conversations had to take place with what we saw. Why don't you go with what's comfortable from day one? And now that you are doing it, you're putting your job on the line as the defensive play caller with 1 year down, and the odds are stacked against you. So give me your thoughts on where Glenn, the play caller, Glenn, the head coach, trying to be a play caller, and what you think about that scenario and what it could mean for us.
So I think him calling plays is probably a little bit of look, I can get back to my roots. I've done this before. You're trying to get a little more confidence in, with the player saying, okay, our main guy is going to be calling the play. That's how he, made his bread and butter, whatever. Uh, I think from a coaching standpoint, my biggest issue is kind of what you said. Like, why didn't you surround yourself with some more established guys last year? Now, maybe Reich wasn't an option. Maybe Arthur Smith didn't want to come here, or whatever. There were other senior guys that had been discussed in prior years. But I think the connection with Engstrand was interesting enough. I liked it. I thought it was his best hire last year. I thought it was a really good upside swing on a young offensive mind. I think when you look at the Lions coaching staff overall and how that kind of moved over to the Bears once what's-his-face became head coach, I think the rest of the facade of the Lions kind of came crumbling down a little bit more on an offensive standpoint. They have a lot more talent than I think we do as it stands right now. Obviously, they got the quarterback kind of figured out, and they have some more depth at the weapon positions, and the offensive line's strong, like just a more mature level team at this point. Now, from a player perspective, bringing in guys last year versus this year, I actually liked the approach that we've had each of the last two seasons. And I kind of credit that a little bit more to Muji than with Glenn. But I thought last year was supposed to be more of a soft tank. Let's see what players could work for next year in the future. Let's save as much cap space as we can. I wasn't thinking we should blow through all of it. I'm cool with rolling it over. Just kind of play the contract, see how it goes. You have the dead cap from Rodgers still on the books. Now, clearly, some players didn't work out. You move Sauce, you move Quinnen to get as many assets as you can. Quincy's off the team. Some other guys, AVT's gone. And now you have an opportunity to kind of have your guys here and now add to that. And you're not, replacing everyone whole cloth the first year in the building. So from a player standpoint, I kind of understand it, and I actually like how they did it the last 2 years. From a coaching standpoint, I'm glad we kind of got to where we are. I like the coaching staff more than I thought I was going to when they fired him. Like, to me,
Okay.
the offensive coaching staff I thought came together pretty nicely. The defensive coaching staff, I didn't think we were going to get a whole lot of anyone committing to us, but we've got the two coaches, the D-line coach and linebackers coach, who I'm blanking on right now from the
Dunbar and Downing.
Yeah, I thought those were two great hires.
Downing.
Done. I don't know offhand.
Downing.
But yeah, those two.
I'm not as bad as Jeremy, but I'm bad with names.
I'm not as sharp as I was in previous off seasons, but I know structurally.
Ben Bowling.
Love both those hires. I think there's a real shot that if Glenn falters out and he's not the guy after this year, that you have some guys that Tomlin would come over for. Tomlin's got a no trade clause, but I think there's a situation where the Jets give up a first round pick and Tomlin is our coach next year. Not necessarily my first option. I'd like to hold on to that first round pick. But I think you're setting the stage from a coaching foundation where you may not have to get rid of everyone. I think you're setting up the situation where you could go with a free agent quarterback. You could go with a drafted quarterback. We really have ultimate flexibility. I really, really like what Muji's doing. So I think he has set himself up enough to not be tied to the hip with Glenn.
Okay. And you have the 3-4, which he would be comfortable with, and you have Dunbar here, which he's worked with. So I'm somebody who believes Tomlin's done. And I believe he's done because you don't leave the most stable organization in all of sports to come take on the Jets.
I think
and not just us. I don't think he ever puts that win streak on the line. I think he does the Bill Cowher. I think he just gets paid $25 million a year. Tony Dungy's out at NBC. There's an opening on the biggest night in America for football. So I just think Tomlin, he's done his coaching, he's won his ring, and I think he's going to be studio for life. Instead of putting in 100-hour weeks, now you just go pop in on Wednesday and spend the rest of the week with the family.
Well, I think it's going to be one of those Godfather type offers. It would be like, okay, I think he saved face because I think there was a real shot that the Steelers were going to fire him. I think they probably wanted to fire him for the last year or two. There's been a lot of, coaching to a great point or bottling up maybe like the talent on that team and getting enough to get to the playoffs, but not enough to like make any noise. They've been one and done almost like every year that they've, had since Ben left. And I don't think Tomlin is as good of a coach as he probably gets credit for. I think he's really good at certain aspects. Like I think he can bottle up a locker room. Like you don't have Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell and Big Ben and Plexico Burst and all these guys on your team and not implode the Steelers, but they implode every other team that they go on. Like that is a skill in and of itself to manage talent. But I think there's just something about like not really being able to get the guys to overperform necessarily. And I think you're right. I think there's a situation where he just takes his $25 million a year and never coaches again. But I think there could be a desperate enough owner that is 70 some odd years old that has a plethora of first round picks that might try to, what is Harbaugh getting? 20 million a year? Who's to say Tomlin doesn't get offered 25 a year and he's fine doing that. So I don't know.
But he says, I trust Dunbar for Arvell, Reese Molding. And you got to add Ben Bowling in that also, because Reese is going to be playing multiple positions along this front if he's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, Cuddy, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you.
I definitely think Reese is the guy too. Like when I was looking back in October, I threw $25 on Reese being the number 1 overall pick when the Titans had the first pick at that point in time. I was like, this dude's a lock, like first round, like number 1 pick all day.
Yeah.
And maybe there was a little bit of like quote unquote disappearing towards the end of the year, but like, man, this guy just looks special when you watch him play.
He does. And that defense was so loaded with talent with McDonald, Downs, Styles, Reese, and then the next generation of Ohio State Buckeyes, which will go in the first round next year.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to go make 15 tackles a game. He didn't have to. He could do whatever they asked. He could be game plan specific. And I think the versatility of him with what we have in place is a perfect match. And I think you can bring him along in certain packages as a middle linebacker. You can have him cover a running back in certain packages. You can have him just put his hand down in the grass and go. You can have him blitz from all different angles with that speed. And he's not afraid to take on blockers. Robbie Sabo had a great video this week about how he's violent at the point of attack and Bailey avoids the contact. I like Bailey, but I think if you have all this other stuff going on, Will McDonald can be your Bailey and your speed pass rusher to get upfield. And why would you draft another like that? I want a guy who complements Will, not a guy who's just a little bit quicker than Will. That's me. We'll see how it plays out.
I'm on board with that too. I'm not on the Bailey train at all. And, he might be a very good pass rusher, but I feel like that's kind of what Will McDonald is. Like with Reese, my feeling is his worst case scenario is a really, really good run defender and a really good off-ball linebacker. His upside is just astronomical.
Yeah.
So like, why not take the swing on that for all those reasons instead of getting someone that might be like a 2-down player in Bailey?
Yeah. I don't want to take a specialist at 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know pass rushing, I know how important it is. I'm not trying to diminish it. But at 2, if I can get a guy who is talked about in the same breath as a Micah Parsons 2 or 3 years from now, I'm going to do that instead of the situational guy who can't play the run, does and looks to avoid contact. Those are all red flags for me. I want a violent front. I want my offensive line to be bullies. I want my defensive front to pummel the shit out of you from every single angle. And when you think they're done, they find more ways to do it. And I think Reese can be a part of that. And that's my vision. Because whenever the New York Jets have been good in my life, they've been really good up front on defense. You haven't been able to push them around. They've been the bullies. They could play with power. They could play with speed. And I'm hoping that they can get this going in the right direction. Right now, before I let you go, I want to do a quick little speed round with you. All right.
All right.
Now I see you're rocking the Mangold.
Oh yeah.
Favorite Jet?
Nick Mangold. Corbett and Mangold would be my like 2, kind of like my young childhood, Wayne Corbett, college years, Nick Mangold, hands down.
Okay. Favorite game?
Ooh, I know this one, hands down. Favorite game I ever went to. I I know it could be favorite game in general. The Patriot playoff game is a hard one not to like absolutely love. But my favorite game that I can remember was the final game of the 2002
42-17 Packers.
It was the Green Bay game, yeah. And we're going into, we're walking into the stadium, and we still don't know the ending score to the Dolphins and the Patriots. We need the Patriots to beat the Dolphins
And
for
the
Jets to have
Browns
a
and the
shot.
Falcons.
There was so much that had to happen, and now we're sitting in the stands, and the Dolphins and Patriots are in overtime, and no one's watching the Jet game right now. We're like halfway through the first quarter, I think, and like people have their Walkmans on, they're listening to AM radio, just listening. The kick is up. The Patriots have won. The Jets have an opportunity to win the division, and we just came out and we kicked the ever loving piss out of the Packers. And like,
where were you for that game? Where were you sitting?
Second to last row, section 327. My like almost back against the concrete. Like I like
you might know me.
remember.
I was on 324, and
No
I was
way.
on the aisle on 324, and I was the lunatic on the aisle, and people were watching me because there was an old guy with the TV radio thing built in with the antenna.
Yep.
And he's telling me it's good, and I signal it's good, and our whole section went like nuts in the corner. In the top corner of the end zone, the opposite side on the Jets sideline was a guy who always wore a Klecko jersey, and then in my corner it was me. Like I would crouch down when you went up into the old stadium. You went up a couple stairs, turned, and then you had the main section to go up, and I would always be bent down right there on the aisle. My seats were the last row of 324, and in 6 years, I never went up and sat in that seat once. One time, I went up to check on my buddy who was passed out at halftime, and people were waving me to come up, and they were like, for years, he's been telling us he's your friend, but we've never seen you two sit together. We had no idea that you guys were actually friends. And I'm like smacking him. I'm like, yo, you good? And he just laid back down. So
That's amazing.
I missed that old stadium.
I was so do I.
What a game.
I was at the Monday Night
week.
Miracle too, but like that game was the one for me that just like took the cake. It was so memorable.
Dude, we beat Brett Favre and Peyton Manning 42-17 and then 41-0 within the same week of one another. That I know I agree with you that the beating the Colts, beating the Patriots, but that week, being at home for both of those games, that experience as a fan, that was the best week of my life as a Jet fan. You know, the best game I've ever watched was beating the Patriots in New England, but that week,
dude, I thought we were going to the Super Bowl that year. I was like, once we beat the Patriots, I was like, we're in. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Whatever happens, that was our Super Bowl.
I know. And I drove out to Pittsburgh for that game.
Oof.
And to this day, I will swear to everyone and anyone that if Chris Jenkins didn't get hurt that one year, him and Leon Washington both got hurt. And if they didn't get hurt, we win the Super Bowl.
Dude, even think about that year. Like, imagine if Favre like doesn't go to the Vikings and he stays on the Jets. And like the year he got hurt, we were like 8-3. Like that team probably could have won a Super Bowl if Favre doesn't get hurt. Like, and then having him the next 2 years too.
We beat Tennessee.
And
Tennessee, that was the game we got to 8-3, I believe.
Yep.
I'm in the church for my son getting christened. And as the priest is about to walk down, my buddy texted me from a few rows back, and I look, and I turn around, my father's behind me. I go, we're up 14-0. My mom hits my dad. My wife at the time hits me. My buddies in the back are fist pumping. And it just, that was such a great day. But I don't remember a word that the priest said, but I remember 14-0 text popping in, and me and my dad both like fist pumping.
That's amazing.
Favorite coach?
Favorite coach for the Jets or in general? I don't know if that's necessarily Jets.
Not many options.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's hard not to love
You're
Rex
say, like,
for those
Greg
few
Schiano, Rutgers?
No, well, no, you know, I was trying to like run it through. I really like John Harbaugh a lot. Now that he's on like the Giants, I don't like him. But like for a Jets head coach, it's hard not to pick Rex or Parcells. Yeah, the early Rex years were just so much fun. It felt like we had a swagger to us, and like even when we had that moment the year we thought Rex was going to get fired, and they're like, we're bringing him back for another year. Like I loved it. I thought it was a blast. You know, he felt like he was a New Yorker, you know, through and through. I don't quite have that with Glenn. but it felt like Rex wore his fandom on his sleeve.
Yeah. We could talk shit and we could back it up, and that was the fun thing. Because I don't know if you're aware of this, but New Jersey, New York people like to talk a little bit of shit. Well, occasionally, a little bit, once in a while, even at a golf course, it gets a little rowdy sometimes. All right, I might know this answer already based off your previous answer. Favorite team?
Favorite team. So favorite. I was a little young for the '98 team. I loved, Crabette. I loved Curtis. Like those were the guys I grew up on, Testaverde and all them. But from like an actual knowing X's and O's standpoint, the 2008, 9, 10 stretch of years with, Thomas Jones and LT and Braylon Edwards and Chris Jenkins, Bart Scott, like that whole era of football with Rex and Revis and Mangold and DeBrickashaw, like it just felt like such a strong, cohesive team.
Yeah.
Man, if that Vernon Golston pick worked out, like it just would have been so lethal of like a stretch of years there. So yeah, I'll say that was it 2010, the year with oh God, what the hell's his name? We have his son, Jason Taylor, LT.
Yeah.
I would say that year for me when we traded for Braylon Edwards and man, we were cooking.
Yeah, that's and you may have answered this already, but if you did choose this, choose another just for discussion purposes. Favorite moment.
Favorite
moment as a Jet fan.
You know what was real special? It actually brought a tear to my eye. Was the when we found out that Revis and Klecko were getting into the Hall of Fame, and we had just won Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. We had Brees, who could have been Offensive Player of the Year. We knew we were getting, Rodgers and everything. Like it just, that was that moment, that like, however long that time period lasted.
4 plays.
I mean, dude, in the building.
The best 4 plays ever. Did you see Brees' 27-yard run? It was the best 27-yard run ever.
26 or whatever it was, and I was like, we're going to the bowl. Like this is our moment. Like this is it. But that night when we saw Revis and Klecko get announced as that class, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, knowing we were getting Rodgers, like that to me was the best night of Jet football, because Klecko was my dad's favorite player. Yeah, and Revis was probably the most iconic player from me growing up, I feel like. So that was just so special to see.
Awesome. Well, Ryan, I know you got to go. I got to head to bed. I started days now. I was working 2:30 to 11 for a year, and I just got moved up to days now. So I got to get back to waking up quite early in the morning, and I haven't accustomed to it yet. But Ryan, I thank you so much, man. And not that everyone here doesn't know, but please go ahead, tell them where to find you.
Yeah, Jets Talk 24/7 on YouTube mainly. I'll cross stream to Twitter and to Facebook. But Monday I'm on with Dom, usually 9:00 at night, talking a little ball. Tuesday I'm on with the Talking Jets guys, myself, O'Leary, and Greenbean. Super excited. We're going to be doing our draft party in Hoboken this year. So we'll do a live show, $25 get you in the door, get you your first drink included, and 50% off apps, $5 well drinks, $5 draft beers. So if you want to come out and hang out with us, we're like 23 feet off the path train.
Nice. Awesome. And earlier on the show, Charles Gorman announced he's in. He'll be there.
Yes. So, Charles got his ticket already. So if you want to meet Charles, he'll be there.
Yeah, there you go. Right. That's it. I'm going to see if I can get him I made an agreement with him. He decided to root for the Colts this year. And the minute he did, they won one game the rest of the year. So at the end of the year, he was telling everybody, no, it's just for this season. I go, Charles, you're on a mission from God. I need you to commit to the Colts for one more year. I'm like, I'll get you a jersey, any jersey you want if you do it. He goes, how about Peyton Manning? I'm like, white or blue? He's like, white. I go, bullshit. I've seen you eat. I'll get you a blue one. He's like, deal. So I got to get Charles. I'll see if I can get him a Peyton Manning jersey to rock for the draft party for you up there. And just know that he's on a mission to give us all.
I want it. I want the first overall pick. Come on, Charles. You could do it. You've put in all the work to get us terrible picks for the Jets. You could do it for the Colts.
That's it, man. Right there, Charles. Charles Clemens and Sauce, baby. Get us the number one pick. We need it. We deserve it. Gosh darn it. Ryan, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on, dude. It's been an absolute blast.
No, and then I'll come on your show one time and we'll use the same thumbnail. The thumbnail's too good not to use more than one time. We gotta run that back.
So good. It was so good. Loved it. Absolutely.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
Take it easy, brother.
Later, pal. Awesome. Awesome moment. Good, great guest. Like I said, Ryan's on my my Mount Rushmore of Jet content creators. And the fact that I went from somebody watching Jake and Ryan and Green Bean and Matt O'Leary to now calling them all friends is it's cool for me. I'm marking out, as they say in the wrestling business. But folks, hope you guys enjoyed the program. I got a little bit of time, so we're gonna repost the call-in link, and I got like 15 minutes, and then we'll get to what did we learn, and we will wrap this baby up. Again, thank you everybody for subscribing to the channel. Let's see where we're at. See how many more we gained during this program. Nice. We're up 7 subscribers this show. Appreciate you. You're a funny guy, Quest. Very funny guy, Jay Quest. Why don't you type your words, all right? Why don't you type your words in the chat? Why don't you call in, show your face? Shout out to Jay Quest for calling in. I messaged him, I think, Friday. So, Quest, thank you. You know our text that we send back and forth. So, very good job today. Appreciate you, man. All right. Oh, thank you, Sean. Appreciate you. Like I said, hope you guys enjoy this program. This week, I'm waiting to hear back from Buffalo Jet fan if it's Tuesday or if it's Thursday. But myself, Dom C, Dylan Terriman, and the Buffalo Jet fan, we're going to do a top 44 mock. Each of us will get a Jet pick. We're going to do every single team. That's what she said. And keep an eye out for that. I will let you guys know. Hopefully tomorrow I'll reach back out to Buffalo and check his schedule on what day works. But we will present that at some point this week. And whatever day I don't, I'll be on the other day solo. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, call link is there. If we get any callers, I will hang out for like another 15 minutes. But if not, we will start to break this bad boy down. Good job. Thank you, Sean. Good job. Yeah, I think you're starting to see the Jet fan trajectory get a little more positive, right? There was a portion of the fan base saying that no players would come here. Well, they changed that, right? I've said for years, if you want to change the narrative with and around the New York Jets, you got to change the narrative. You know, if you want to win games, you better start winning games. You want the Jets fans to stop talking shit, play better, coach better, execute, finish drives, win the games. Otherwise, we're just going to keep fucking telling you. We're going to tell you. When it's good, we'll tell you. When it's bad, we're going to tell you. And then there's a portion of the fan base which will make it sound so much worse than it actually is. But change the narrative. Draft well. Execute. Build the line. How great is it to have mock drafts going and we're not picking a tackle? It's the first time in a decade we're not picking an offensive tackle. Oh, Confucius say, if you want to change the narrative, you have to change the narrative. Thank you, ISU. Also, hi, Mrs. ISU. Go screw yourself, Mr. ISU. MC says, the narrative that AG only has this year to prove himself or he will be fired came from where? I don't know. AG's burner, we can literally select any non-QB best player available. Yeah, Mrs. ISU said hi. Yeah, AG, I agree. Just build the best roster and then go all in next year for the quarterback, whether it's Mensa or if it's Moore or if it's Manning, whoever the quarterback is, Mestamaker. Like it's all M's. That's it. That's the only quarterback. It's the only quarterback we're taking. It starts with an M next year. Just build the best possible roster. And if you end up with your top 3 picks, the best one is 4, so be it. You have the ability to move. If your best pick is 7, well, you know what? It means you probably had a good year. You're trending upward. If that's the Colts pick and we're picking in the teens, you're trending upward. But you still have the draft capital to go jump and get a quarterback. Look at the Broncos. The Broncos picked Bo Nix. Now they're a playoff team. They would have been a Super Bowl team if he didn't get hurt. They didn't have to jump. They stayed put. But they had a team in place that a young quarterback can come in, get coached up, and start to succeed. So the idea that we just have to get the number 1 isn't true. It's a pipe dream. Hopefully, with all these teams vying for the number 1 pick, it happens. But we'll see, man. You're starting to see the chat change, the attitude, the thoughts, the messages are starting to be more positive. And on this channel, I love that. You guys know how positive I am. You guys know that I try to find a positive no matter how far down the road I have to go. Shut up, boom. Do not type 2029. It's 2027 that we're going to start to win. But ladies and gentlemen, I thank all of you for watching.
Now let's go to What Did We Learn Today, courtesy of Nick Shine.
And start dropping your What Did We Learn. For those of you who might be new to the channel, first off, welcome. Secondly, at the end of the program, we do a little wrap-up show here. Put in the chat, what did you learn throughout the program? Maybe it was something I said, a caller said, something you saw in the chat. But drop your what did we learn, and then we will kick it up to Boomtown. Seeing Ghost, we will see if the beat writers consistently report how well run and professional the practices are this summer. Yeah. I think that you're going to see, with a veteran quarterback, and listen, I'm not putting Geno Smith up at the top of the league, but he's been around enough to be a leader and command a certain expectation from the offense. And now you got Titman and Membu going into year 2, and Olu, who's quiet, but now you got Parnham coming in, and he's somebody that seems to be a bit of a leader. You're going to have good leadership here. You got Demario Davis and Minka on defense. They've played on good defenses. They have a standard that they're going to expect from their teammates and the coaching staff. So I think you're going to see less of a, I don't know how else to say this. You're going to see less of the boys leading the team, and you're going to see the men lead the team. Mays. I learned that Tom Mace has a harassment in the workplace suit against Nick Shine and the awkward realization that Charles only watches the show when he is on. Very good point. Jay Quest learned that Lou B thinks Jay Quest is a casual. I learned that Jay Quest talks about himself as if he's the Rock in third person. Now, Quest, if you can do the one eyebrow, I can't do it. But if you can do the one eyebrow, that's how you open up your calls from now on. You point and pop it up. AG's Burner, do you think we bring another kicker in? Yeah, I'm listen, with these picks in the 200s, draft a kicker, sign a free agent kicker. And for Chris Banjo, I mentioned this earlier, and I'll keep bringing this up. The next thing on your list to be the best special teams coordinator in football is build upon this return. And shout out, we signed Kene Nwangu again. So we got Nwangu and Isaiah Williams back. You bring in Cade York, not a great kicking reputation. But if you get another kicker in there, just go with the best guy. Let there be a kicking competition and then develop the kicker. You found the punter last year when we all lost our minds, when Morstead was let go. Bring another guy in and get a good kicker and find a guy who can just kick 65 yarders like it's nothing and be consistent from 50 under. Jets Worldwide, I learned that Tom Ace is Nick's very sexy assistant. Yowza! Tiny blunts affect the brain, ladies and gentlemen. Super Bowl this year, baby. Jay, I hope you're right. AG's burner. I don't feel good about losing Falk and how inexperienced our new guys' track record is, especially since special teams was our only good unit. Excuse me, last year. That's fair. That's fair, but you can find a guy who can kick 60-yarder bombs like it's nothing. Falk's leg is not getting stronger as time goes on. Sorry, Jay. Forgive me. ISU. I learned the United States of America are the undisputed kings of the hockey world. I wonder if Trump is rethinking allowing Canada to become the 51st state. Well, now we can't acquire Canada because we don't want them to bring down our hockey programs. Jet Jarrow says Reese at 2, Lemon at 16, Rodriguez at 33, and Halsey at 44. That would be the speed to add to this power on defense, 100%. I will update you my weekly mock. No trades. I'll go Reese. Oh, man. I'm going to go McDonald at 16 and think that they move on from Phillips without the guaranteed contract. Now that you got leadership, keep an eye on McDonald. It was Banks, but now Banks with the injury. You go in McDonald, you bring him in with Sweat, with Briggs. That's a badass down 3 lineman. 33. I don't think CJ Allen makes it. Oh man. I'll put Connor Liu, the center from Auburn, at 44. And at 33, I don't like it, but I'll say Simpson at 33 for now. I don't like it, but I think my predictive mock says that's who they could take if he's there. Yet he says, I learned it's really hard to nap midday when you start a side gig at 11 p.m. This is true. AG's burner, I want Anthony Hill in round 2. Yeti, I learned you can just play Madison. It's easy. It's fair. Yeah, ISU, that they would be great. And like I said earlier, whether it's CJ Allen, Styles, Rodriguez, Hill, any of these guys learning from Demario Davis and replacing Sherwood and then shifting into the mic after Davis is done, that's how you build a good defense. Get the best players, find their role, and expand their role over time. I would love it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. Last call for super chats, gifted memberships. Raffle entries are double tonight. Don't be like this guy. Be like this guy. Boomtown.
Hey there, Shiners, you made it to the end. It's time to ask the question. Nick Shine would like to know, Canada's taking names. Boomtown always delivers. Let's find out now. What did we learn today?
And Mr. Boomtown, if you would please, kind sir, drop it like it's hot. Also, thank you to David D for gifting 5. I will gift 1 on top of it. Oh, and thank you, Devin gifted 1. Went to Eric Kelly, 8077. And I gifted 1 that went to Jet the F Up, baby. God, God, let's hope this team can jet the F up this year. That'd be tremendous. Thank you. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for the contributions to the channel. Again, Easter night, April 5th, we will be doing the next Winner's Choice raffle. You choose the item, you choose the player, mini helmet, autograph jersey, photograph, picture, whatever you want. Your choice. It's your world. I'm just living in it. Boomtown learned. Nick enjoys Samini nuggets. Charles is leading the tank. Bill M knows the color of Charles Gorman's balls. Charles was caught in 4K not watching this show often. Kyle Clifton is a whale of a caller. Bonus. Rick Kent is not a fan of casuals. Bedtime misinterpretation was a factor in tonight's show. ISU appears to have been heavily invested in the Paralympic gold medal hockey game. Double bonus. Comforter rotation can lead to a short intermission on the Nick Shine Show. You have to, right? You put a comforter, king-size comforter, in a dryer, and it tumbles, you got the inside. You got to make the inside outside. Shout out to Kyle Clifton. AG's burner. I learned Muji is a top 10 GM and arguably top 5 when it comes to extracting trade value. Absolutely. He's done very well. It's been fun as a Jet fan watching him acquire these players through trades. And now we can only pray he's that good in the draft. He's got an opportunity to put the Jets in a position to do something that they haven't done in a long time. Compete, win, be talked about in a positive light around the league. Let's hope to God Muji bowls as many strikes as Snowball did today on Jets Worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, be on the lookout for shows this week. Myself, Dom C, Dylan Terman, Buffalo Jet fan, doing a mock. All the teams from pick 1 to pick 44 one day this week. Also, be on the lookout for shorts. I've been posting them. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. It helps the algorithm. Spreads the Nick Shine love across the world, as only Tom Ace likes to do. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, you are the fucking best. Don't let anybody tell you different. Have a great night. Be good to one another. We're close to being good. I promise you. We're very close. All right. God bless everybody. Have a good night. Go Jets. And StreamYard froze. I can't get to Blitz's song. Huh. I wanted to play a video to see. Let me do that.
Yeah, no, I'm staying right here. Oh, look at my eye! Look at my eye! You're ridiculous. What the fuck? What the Look at that! He's laughing!
Daddy's back, and Daddy's gone. Going out to get milk.
It's got me.
Gentry covered in purple.
Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show. Dim the lights, but it's still bright as Nick time. Day or night, this is his prime, it's Nick Shine. Proud fan, well defined, to get in line. Toe to toe with any show, he only got 9. The best show on YouTube, bro, is easy. We talk Jets all day, please believe me. Subscribe, you just gotta click a family. We not a click in 3D. You can see a beautiful DP. We see through the fake teams and the tea leaves. So we pray for a coach and a QB and hope that we close to the top in the new league. A toast to the host with the most, Nicky. Who, me? Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show.
Fantastic.
If you think you were putting a comment like this in the Nick Shine Show chat, and I was not coming back to address this, you're 100% wrong. Now, Jay, as a Duke fan, I wish you good luck and no stiff neck in the AG suck off. You deserve to win, my friend.